What's going on? What's going on? We are live. Codation's making some kind of dumbass face. What's going on, my dude? What's going on?
Oh, nothing much, man. What are you up to, dude? How was your Christmas, man? How have you been? How was your family? Did Santa Claus bring you some good gifts?
You know, dude, actually, I'll show you here in 1 second as I'm turning down the music that we had playing at the start of this. Yeah, dude, I got like $150 in Amazon gift cards. You know, which actually with those I already know what I was getting with them, and I already bought it. It's not here yet, but I bought one of those. I don't know if you ever seen them. They're called a Theragun. Is what the original one comes.
A Theragun?
Theragun. So what it's for is for people that like work out and stuff a lot. It's for your muscles. It's a massager, but it's not like a typical massager. It is it's like kind of like, think of a drill and you pull the trigger and then it has this head on it that just goes and like beats the shit out of your muscle.
Interesting. So yeah,
like
I think
it has a little rubber ball on the end of it.
I think my chiropractor has one of those things.
Yeah, and they're like rated. Now I didn't get the Theragun because they're like $400. I got a Chinese one off of Amazon. But even all the Chinese ones, people like swear by these things. They have like 4.8 stars out of like tens of thousands of views or thousands of reviews. Like 4.8 stars, 4.9. People would say these things are a game changer. And I have a jacked up shoulder that I messed up from falling on it a couple times, like on my side and like jamming it. And it bothers me all the time. So the wife's always having to get in there and then her fingers are hurting her. And so I thought I'd try this. So I don't know. So I got that. And then I also got a new Fitbit from when I'm at the gym and stuff. You know, when I'm on the machines or doing weights, I don't keep my phone on me. It's normally sitting somewhere so I can still track all my shit when I work out every day with the Fitbit. So that was cool. Tricky Boy 456 in the chat says, "What's up, Derek?" Hey, Tricky Boy. How are you doing, dude? How was your Christmas? Also, Codations, how was yours, dude? You get anything good?
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, we had a blast. I've had 4. I think we had 4 so far is what we had. I believe we've got one more coming up this coming weekend, but we've got
4 what?
Christmases.
Okay, nice. Just hogging all the Christmases, are you, dude?
So my parents, both of my parents are divorced.
Okay.
So I get a Christmas on both sides, you know, there. And then I've got, and then my wife, you know, so like her family is a third Christmas. And then the fourth one is my grandma's every year. So, which is like, you know, cousins and extended family and stuff. And then, like I said, the other 2 were just, you know, small, you know, our immediate family, you know, dad, stepmom, siblings on that side, that kind of thing. But no, everything was good. I got, bunch of different gift cards like Chick-fil-A, Texas Roadhouse, an Amazon gift card, $150 to a Visa gift card.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, so just a bunch of different random stuff. Cohen, man, my son just made out like a bandit, man. The kid's got so many toys. Like he's not even old enough to use half of the damn toys that he got. He's literally just standing there staring at all these things like, the hell do I do with this stuff?
What's the favorite gift you guys got him? Like, what's your favorite, like, out of all the gifts he got?
I want to say probably, you know, my favorite would probably be these weird like 3-dimensional like block things. So like they do like 4 or 5 different things all in the same little like, you know, little block. So it's like a block, but then there's like, you know, like it's a kind of like a busy block, you know what I mean? Like they use those cubes for like people who have like ADHD or whatever. It's like an attention block,
right?
But it's a kid toy, and then it's got like, you know, like a light switch on one side type of thing, and like a twisty knob on another thing, and everything.
Yeah.
And he loves that thing. He just sits there, will lay on the ground and just hold it and play with it and stuff. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Those seem to be super, super popular this year. My daughter asked for and got a lot of those like fidget type toys, different ones. Yep. She got like this, it's like a cube, but it like opens and then it opens again. But each time you open it, it like reforms back into a cube and you can just sit there. And then she has like this thing that you like do these pop things and it like pops them over and over and over or whatever.
Very cool.
Yeah, so it was super cool. But my favorite that my son got was, we got him one of those, you know, mine's a little older than yours, so he's starting to, you know, run around and stuff. So we got him one of those balance bikes. where you know it's like a bicycle, but they just use their feet. It has no pedals or anything, so it kind of teaches them to start balance or whatever. So I'm
Yep,
super
very cool.
excited for him to use that. Also, I'm bummed because you said you had so many Christmas parties. See, we normally my mom's parents are divorced as well, so we normally have 2 Christmas parties on their side, and then we have the other ones. But all of them got canceled besides just the main, you know, just going over with my parents, you know, and spending the day on Christmas. But all the
Just
rest,
because of just because of
yep,
COVID or what?
yep, they all canceled them because of COVID. All my family. So we got a couple people in the chat.
Gosh.
Cam Blocks says, "Hi, I randomly found this on my homepage." Hey, Cam Blocks, welcome, welcome, welcome. Princess says,
Dude, thank you
"Hello."
for tuning in,
Yeah,
man. What is
dude,
going
for
on,
sure, for
Cam?
sure. Tonight is our podcast night. We do a podcast Sunday nights, and by podcast, what we mean is me and Codations, the beautiful bearded giant sitting next to me. We just get on and bullshit for like 2 hours, 3 hours, however long we basically feel like, and chat with
Yep.
chat, and that is what we call a podcast. Tom Blank says
Exactly.
you could have given your Amazon card to your friend so he can buy a decent cam. Yo, come on, he's doing the best he can with that Chinese shit.
Dude, this webcam, bro, is like $45 straight from China. It's working out brilliantly.
Princess says,
No, dude,
"Ooh,
it's actually
fancy
horrible.
screen." Yeah, dude, he
Horrible
got
quality.
Christmas lights and everything hanging up. He's in the coming live from the North Pole, the Aurora Borealis behind him. Christmas lights
Exactly,
hanging from the
dude.
sky. I don't know how he taped that shit up there, but he did.
But yeah. Oh yeah, dude. It looks good, man. It looks good.
Oh, he turned them off. I like the Christmas lights, dude.
Yeah, I did not mean to turn them off.
Okage says, "Oh shit, we got 4 whole people watching on YouTube." Hell yeah. Cam says, "LOL."
Dude,
Princess says, "I
dude, it's
like the
growing,
background."
man. It's
LOL.
growing. What are you talking about? It's growing.
Yeah, dude, we're always getting new people stopping in and stuff, man. The fam is growing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
so but yeah, man, Christmas, I can't complain. Even with all of the cancellations and stuff. I mean, the actual Christmas day, waking up, my son was old enough now to act. What are you making that face for?
Because I'm changing my lip color. Apparently, I can wear like lipstick.
Putting on
So,
lipstick with your Carnation's gonna be messing with Zoom the whole time.
bro, you're the one who wanted to do Zoom.
I'm not
This is the
using
first
Zoom.
video podcast, dude. For me, I'm literally like trying to get this stuff set up for all of our podcasts here.
I'm just messing. Tom Blank says he
Like,
looks
that's
like
blue,
Torment
funny.
of Game of Thrones. Kind
Yeah, there
of
you
a
go.
little
Blue
bit.
lips. Look, blue
Oh,
lips.
no, don't do it. Turn it off.
Mm,
Just stop. I'm DCing.
mm.
Thank you all for joining. Good night. Kim says, "Love it, laughy face."
Oh
Princess
gosh,
Codations,
dude,
did you
this
have a
is.
beard last time? Yes, he had a beard. Codations always has had a beard. How, you
I've
think he
always had.
grew that in
What do you,
one
you
week?
just look, this is
Over a
me growing
week.
this in 1 week, dude. 1 week. 1 week, princess. 1 week. Oh my god, his lips laugh my ass off. Yeah,
Kim
dude.
says, just like the video. Thank you, thank you. Mike says, sexy. Tom says, what camera are you using, Derek? Looks crispy. I'm using the Canon EOS M200. It's like a $500 mirrorless camera.
This guy ain't even using no webcam, dude. This guy's using a DSLR. Get out of here.
Yeah, with a Camlink 4K Elgato. That's what I use.
It's cheating, dude. It's cheating. It's what it is. You're
Wolf
cheating.
says, sup. Hey, Wolf, how are you doing tonight, my friend? How are you doing, dude? Good to see you in the chat, brother. But yeah, dude, I mean, overall, I can't complain because, like I was saying, Christmas was good overall. My son was, last year, he had that RSV. I don't know if you guys remember. Princess, some of you that have been around for a while might remember last year when he had the RSV, which is like really bad for kids. Not a fun thing to go through. That's tons of breathing problems and stuff. So you're like listening to your kid wheeze at night and barely being able to breathe. It's horrible. But anyway, so he was sick.
Our child doesn't have RSV, but we're in the same boat. Remember with the whole like nebulizer and stuff, like in breathing stuff. Like we're still dealing with that, by the way. With him.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. Like I said, for me, the worst thing is like your kid getting sick's bad enough, but then like when your kid's sick and they can't breathe, oh, that shit's the worst, dude. The worst.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so this year though, taking it back on a positive note, this year He was healthy. He has a little bit of a cough, but just, from winter, I think, dry weather. But Andy's
Right.
old enough that he could actually like really be excited about opening. So I mean, he was ripping open the wrapping paper, and like every time he'd open it, like see the president. I mean, he's like, "Ooh!" Like it was just so funny. So it was like,
That's
"What
good though,
the
dude. That's
fuck?"
good. I don't even know why this is even popping up.
Today
Sorry.
we are
Down to the
sponsored
beach scene.
by whatever that was. Pro. Sponsored by. Wolf says, "Good enough, you." I'm doing good, Wolf. Can't complain. Can't complain. Having a good time watching Codations fuck around with Zoom, making me
Dude,
laugh.
Listen. I'm trying to match your. I'm trying to match your background here. I need to put some wood up so it can look like yours.
Some wood. Dude. You got to have. This is real behind me. That's why it looks so good. You got to have real with studio lights set up, and you're never gonna get it as good looking with. No, I'm just kidding. Totally green screen.
I know, but your picture looks legit, dude.
It does look good, dude. I'm gonna be honest. I'm glad I chose the wood. I like it. I like it a lot. Tom says, "I do have an M200 and it doesn't look like this and the cam link. So, I might have to look at some tutorials." Well, Tom, lucky for you, I have some tutorials on my website. I think I did a whole video of hooking up the M200 with the cam link 4K, as well as all of the settings I use.
Yes, he did.
Princess says, "Oh, yes, I remember when he had RSV. Yeah, it was shitty." Cam says, "I'm currently saving for a camera." I mean, dude, a good webcam honestly is not bad if you set everything manually and get good lighting. Lighting is way more important. Cam says, "Wait, that's real?" Oh wait, KK. Yeah, I was kidding. That's not real. It's green screen.
Nah, dude, he's lying. It is legit.
So,
100%
yeah, man,
legit.
I'm glad your family was still able to get together and stuff. And I mean, I guess you
Oh,
already
yeah.
having
Oh, yeah.
COVID,
But
you
that's
don't got no
because
fears.
right. Yeah, no, dude, no. That not only that too, like my family's, you know how they are. They don't care. They don't
Mine
care
doesn't.
whatsoever.
Mine doesn't
They're
either.
like,
But for some reason, they cared enough to cancel Chris. Like they've all been running around like yahoos. Like for the longest time, my parents didn't even wear masks or anything. When they like thought it was the stupidest thing, and it was all like they were kind of under the with Trump, and it's like a hoax and shit type mentality.
right,
And
right. Yeah.
then all of a sudden, like they started wearing masks and stuff. But then all of a sudden, they canceled all the Christmas stuff. So I'm like, oh damn, dude, look at that. We're matching now.
Yeah, dude. I told you, bro.
Oh
That's
shit,
what I was looking for, dude.
Holy. It's actually
Looking
even
to
close
match
in
your
color, the wood. Princess says, "Oh, yo, I kind of like the double wood, actually. Kind of like
dude.
it. It looks clean,
Well,
man."
well, here's what we need to do for the next podcast. The next podcast, what we do is we just use the exact same background and we'll stage it to where it looks like we're sitting right next to each other. The difference is my camera sucks.
Yeah, you're right, dude. That would be pretty cool. Wait, question. I'm just now thinking about it. Did you get your new Audio Technicas yet? Or is that, yeah, that's not what you're wearing, right?
Tuesday.
Okay.
Tuesday.
I was wondering. Princess says, "Wait,
Yeah.
that's the same thing." They are pretty close, Princess. They are pretty close. Princess says, "Codations is upside down." Laugh my ass off. Wait, what?
Upside down.
He's not upside down on my screen.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see upside down.
Oh, I think she's saying your background's upside down compared to mine. And like if it was flipped
gotcha.
around, it would be the same background.
Gotcha.
Wait, they are actually very similar. You're right. Like it even has the one board that's cut to the left, like mine, but it's like mirrored or something. That is weird, actually.
It's pretty damn
Oh wait,
close.
yeah. Look, the red thing is even. I have the same little red mark on mine. I think yours is just flipped and then vertically and horizontally. If it was flipped horizontally and then vertically, I think they would be exactly the same.
Flipped horizontally and then
vertically. Yep. Flip it first horizontally.
Good thing
Wait, I don't know.
Good thing we know a graphic designer.
They are actually very, very similar. I don't know why mine. I mean, they do look different though. Somebody did something to them. Cam says Andy has lights like Christmas lights. Come on, guys. I'll get Christmas lights next. Oh, well,
dude, the Christmas lights are the best, dude. But do you see this right here? Look at this green. Look at this. Look at this. See this through my headphones? You can see my actual background. All right. So now, explain to me this one more time here. So we're gonna flip this which direction?
Well, no. I wouldn't try to do it. I'm just saying I think your image is flipped and vertically, but I don't think you can do it because you'd flip yourself vertically. But I'm saying your background, the wood background.
Yeah, no, I got it right now. All I gotta do is resave the image here.
Oh. I don't know exactly
like
how
I just
it is.
made the edits.
Eclipse says, "Oh shit, the Duo podcast. Who is this? Is this somebody I know? This is Codations, dude." Eclipse says he's kind of cute. Not gonna lie, the guy that you were saying sounded like you the other night, or no, that was Pax. That was Pax. You were saying sounds like you. Yeah,
Who's the
Codations
one guy that
definitely
was
doesn't sound
saying I was super annoying? Let's bring that guy back on.
That was Hunter. He was on Facebook. He's not here tonight thus far. Cam says best Zoom screen ever. I love how it shows in between his headphones and his hat. That's the best part of it. Makes him look like he's got these weird ass gray flaps sticking out.
Boom. How's that?
Yo, it's close. I don't know, dude. Honestly, it's definitely close. It's kind of weird.
So I flipped it horizontal and then vertical, but I don't know if it's still not lining up correct. But I do have a really awesome idea for the next podcast. You know, it'd be slick, dude. Because we're in two different boxes, what if I design a background that's individual boxes and we've got like jail cells? You know what I'm saying? So then the divider will be in between us on the edge of the camera.
There we go. That would be pretty legit. Dude, you're the graphic designer, so whatever. This is me. This is my setup. 2 webcams side by side, boom, done. That's what you get out of me unless I'm buying graphics.
Dude, I know, but like, dude, I hate how my face is so washed out. Like, why is it washed out?
Because you're using a $30 Chinese webcam.
I know, but it's got to be like, we got to fix this. We can't have like we're having a professional podcast, man. We can't like.
I sent my only extra Logitech webcam to Eclipse a couple like 6 months or so ago. So Princess says, I think your brightness is too high. To Eclipse, who's in the chat.
Yeah, the problem is Princess over here with the big brain ideas is I can't turn the brightness down because there's no settings on this China webcam.
Hold on, let me hear with the big brain. I got you.
I can't turn anything down because there's no settings on this bad boy.
When you buy a $30 webcam, you can't adjust settings.
Listen, that should be one of your next videos. Look, you can use this China webcam, but you don't get any settings with it. You just take it as
found
is.
Something cool, send it to your Discord. I don't know if I can open Discord and yeah, I can.
Send it to your Discord. If I just do this, right? You ready? I'm gonna go dark.
That's a pretty good ass drawing. Yo, that doesn't look bad.
Is that better?
Yeah, I think so. Cam says, gotta love the off-brand Chinese face cams. They're the best cam for sure. Brittany says it's not that bad. That's better.
That's
okay,
better.
Don't touch anything, Codations. You got it.
dude, half my headphone is missing on this side, dude.
Eclipse says, hear me out, spray tan. There you go, dude. Get a spray tan, even you're right.
Dude, if I got a spray tan, dude, I would look just like you because my camera would probably pick up on it better.
For sure. Princess says, I can see your background in between your head and headset. Laugh my ass off. Princess, are you even in the same live stream as us? Well, it says, didn't draw it before you asked. Oh, okay. Cam says, if you press configure video on OBS, he's not in OBS. I'm on OBS. Right. So, but he's in. Oh, wait. What?
Big brain thought.
Wait, can I put a filter on your? I can adjust you.
Oh, dude. Well, then correct me. Make this Chinese cam look legit.
Well, let me see what I can do. Actually, it doesn't look bad right now, I feel like, to be honest.
Yeah, besides my face being blown out, but it's all good.
Yeah. I'm fixing it, dude.
Listen, I just need you to make me not look like a goof, okay?
Yeah, dude. I'm doing my best here, all right, dude?
Hey, speaking of goof, anybody that's in here from Derek's regular live streams.
Wait, how's that look?
I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, I think that's about as good as it's going to get. You guys look like you're brothers, but it's very vague and unclear which one is the older brother.
Definitely Cody. Wait. Who do you guys think is older? Let's find out. Why are you so much taller than me, dude? Hold on. I feel so short, right? I gotta.
It's probably because I'm sitting in line with my webcam here, my Chinese webcam. Okay, the beards. I gotta say, Derek is older. Derek's got the salt and pepper.
I knew I should have used Just for Men.
I want a beard now. Like, do you want a beard to feel princess, or do you want a beard to actually have on your face? Because that's sending mixed signals. You got to get
Cam
those
says one
signals
on
in
the
check.
left. Sorry, I don't know names. Oh yeah, I should have our name somewhere on that.
She says both.
Both. Clip says having a beard on your face is also a beard you can feel. True. True. You
Very
always
true.
see people that got the big beards. Codation does it too. Everybody, like if you got a long beard, next thing you know, they're always going like this.
Oh yeah, just constantly doing this the entire time. Yep. As I'm recording videos, this is me full time. Like I'm literally like in between, like pressing the stop button. I'm just like, oh, what am I thinking about today? Oh yeah, you instantly grow a beard, and then it just becomes your thought process.
You know what
Look
else
at
I
this.
should I put it between
Bring
us
your
there?
chat
I
in.
feel like
Yeah, sure.
I feel like
Put
putting it.
yeah,
Oh shit!
put it
Hold
right in
on.
between us. There you go. Yeah, that's perfect.
There you go. Yeah.
Perfect.
There we go. Give you guys chat for the other, because I know some of you
is.
on YouTube, some of you on Twitch.
It is princess. It is luscious and red. Oh yeah.
Clip says that muddles up the line a little. Yeah, dude, that's better. All the better. Now it really looks like we're just sitting next to each other in front of two pallets.
Two palette. Except my Christmas lights don't go all the way across.
God damn it! Share your damn Christmas lights, Codations.
All right, I'll turn them off. Instead, I'll turn this on.
Cam says, "Oh God, oh Lord."
Hello.
Cam says, "Oh damn, look at that." Yeah, there you go, Cam. I figured that would help you out some, being able to see what everybody else was saying. Yeah, dude. Hey, by the way, what were we talking about a minute ago? Because I was gonna mention something about what we were. Thank you for that. Appreciate you.
Well, there we go. That's pretty damn close,
dude. Did you hear about the explosion in? Did you hear about the explosion in Nashville on Christmas Day?
Yeah, dude. On the actual camper, man. Like, dude, ridiculous.
Dude drove an RV into the downtown, blew himself up in the RV. It was really weird though. Me and Princess were talking about it a little bit, so she knows some of this, whatever. But I guess he had for 15 minutes before it actually exploded. Like there was an audible warning coming out, like saying that it was gonna explode and shit.
Yeah. So I was actually listening to you because the only thing that I caught was we were at Christmas, or one of our Christmases, and it was playing in the background on the TV, and like I didn't listen to the full story or anything. I just saw the footage, or not footage. I saw the news quick news broadcast by saying that the RV exploded and then destroyed a lot of businesses around in that area, but they said there was nobody injured or anything.
I saw there was 3 people injured, but they were all stable. No one had life-threatening issues. But yeah, I heard I think I heard 44 or 41, or those are the two numbers coming to my mind. Either 41 or 44 businesses were messed up from the explosion.
Yeah, but so you obviously know more about the story than I do. So what exactly happened? You're saying some guy died, drove the camper?
Yeah, it was it was an RV, but it was kind of like one of those shorter RVs. It wasn't like a full-size long ass RV. It was like the half-size RVs. But it was like the RV where the camper's built into the actual fucking truck, like an RV.
Right. Yeah.
And apparently he drove into downtown Nashville, and blew it up. Again, like Eclipse said in the chat, there was a PA saying something along the lines of "Please evacuate the area." I thought it said there's a bomb gonna explode or something, and it did that for 15 minutes, and then boom, the RV exploded. But they did, last I read, and maybe, I mean, if anybody knows something, I don't know, because again, I didn't dive into it, but apparently they found human remains from the explosion that they identified as being the guys, and they even know the guy who did it, his name and everything. I don't know if they ever figured out a motive or anything like that, but yeah, he apparently blew himself up in it. Eclipse says apparently it fucked up AT&T communications too. Princess said he blew himself up, and there was a countdown for 15 minutes. And Princess says yes, they confirmed it was him. Cam says, "Oof, that sounds awful. It's hella awful, dude. I don't know if he was just lonely or."
We'll see. I have a lot of questions because
everybody does.
Okay, I'm thinking my first question is how did he just explode the RV on a timer, on a 15-minute timer? I don't understand. Did he run it into a building and it had gas or something, or a flame or something? What was the?
Well, I'm assuming he had to have explosives in the RV with him, and my guess would be the RV has some kind of PA system. And again, he was in the RV, so he could have just set it off after 15 minutes himself. The bomb.
Yeah. No, I know. But so did he just like drive and then like park? Or was he like in full-fledged like driving mode and then like click the button?
Oh, I
boom,
don't know that, to
explode,
be
like, in
honest. I don't know if
mid-travel
he
or
was
something?
just sitting there or if he was driving around. I don't know. I
Huh.
I
Interesting.
guess I assumed he was stationary, but I don't know that I ever actually read whether he was driving or stationary. Eclipse says he was parked outside AT&T headquarters. Princess says his
Dude, he
neighbor
was
said he was
pissed
very
off.
quiet.
He was pissed off at AT&T, dude. I don't blame him.
Probably.
He's probably mad because he tried getting a deal, so he went to Verizon instead. Came back and blew up the place.
Well, if he got the deal though, he should have been happy if he got a deal from Verizon.
No, he was pissed off at AT&T because they didn't give him the deal.
Oh,
So he went to Verizon and then came back and served, AT&T a platter of bombs.
Princess says he had a background in electronics. Eclipse says his deal was contingent on taking out the competition. We'll give you a deal if you take out AT&T. So yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible that it was on Christmas Day or whatever. Or I don't know if it was Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
What if that is part of the plan with Verizon and they just they told him that they would set up his family for life with Verizon wireless contracts?
That's crazy, dude. That would be.
Was Christmas
Verizon
Day.
contracts for life. That's it. That's all you would get for blowing yourself up.
Yeah, dude. Verizon expensive. Verizon phones, dude. Can you imagine how much money you would save? Like two phones are like what, like $100 and something dollars a month. So you do the math, man. For life, it's a pretty good chunk of money.
That's not as much, I think, as you're thinking
again.
of yourself. Wait, hold on. I got to do the calculations now. So let's just say 150 a month times 12.
Tinfoil hat moment. Woof.
Okay, so 70 years, that would be $126,000.
Yeah, that's
you kill yourself for your family for $126,000.
Oh hell no! I'm super selfish. That would never happen. I'm worth a lot more than that. Going back to like several podcasts ago, or maybe it wasn't a podcast, maybe it was a live stream, but our number on, doing the dirty, I mean, my number's like $5,000 for that. But yet, I mean, I'm not going to kill myself for 1,000 or 100,000. No.
Princess says it was Christmas Day, like 6 a.m. Cam says, yeah, though, even around Christmas, that's awful. Wolf says tinfoil hat moment there. Yeah, Codation's all about those conspiracy theories, it turns out. Clip says we can't give you money, but we can pay you in wireless data and printer ink. Easiest deal
printer
ever.
ink.
Printer ink? Now, if you're throwing that in too?
Dude, printer ink is expensive. You know what the best thing to do?
Wait, who still prints in 2020? Does people actually print still?
Listen, well, my wife does as a teacher, but listen to this craziness. So like I've instructed so many people within, I want to say like the past 2 years that always come to me and they're like, dude, I bought this printer like 4 years ago, man. And I'm trying to print something on, it's always got issues. And I'm like, look, you're doing it wrong. You need to go to the store. You need to buy like the cheapest printer, like $30-$50 because they're throwaways you use for like 2 years. You know what I mean? You use the sample ink in it, maybe buy ink cartridges once. And then by that point, it's like, throw that sucker away, buy a new one, rinse and repeat because they're garbage. Nobody works on them. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, they're trash.
Yeah, I agree. I buy one just enough that it has like the scanner and everything built into it because we do use that. And then outside of that, yeah, throw them. Because the other problem is if you don't use them a lot and then that ink is sitting in there, it like dries out and goes bad anyways. And then the more expensive printers, the ink's like triple the cost as the normal printers. So
yep.
Barb says, I know that voice. Is that Codations? That is Codations.
Oh, it is. Barb, it is. It's
coming at you again on another podcast.
Welcome back to the OMG It's Derek podcast. Coming at you today is Codations and OMG It's Derek. It's gonna be our intro.
I just go by Derek.
we need a lot better intro than that. That intro is for like newbie YouTubers.
Eclipse says the real crazies are people who still print on inkjet instead of lasers. Yo, come on, dude. I do my best. Lasers are too expensive.
Oh yeah.
Barb says, "Hey Cody, you have no soul. I knew it." Oh damn, she busting right out with the red-haired joke right away, dude. She just first time she sees you.
Definitely. Look, you're telling me I have no souls. You want to see these all these souls that I have taken? That's what the freckles are, baby. That's how many souls I've collected. I got a bunch of souls.
It says Ali a face insert. Wait, what? I don't get that.
What?
I don't know. Cam Block says Ali a face insert, but I
You
don't
think
get
he
it.
has no soul? You should have heard him singing the blues earlier.
The man has nothing but souls.
Oh yeah,
Barb says,
dude,
I
that's
love the
all
new
I've got.
podcast style. You mean the video? Adding
The video
codations video?
podcast. Listen, you guys need to go right now and donate so I can get a damn awesome webcam like OMG over here. Your boy needs a webcam. Can't see them. The Zoom green screen gets rid of them, or maybe there's just, or it's not just not
Oh,
there.
you have that. You remember you turned on the beauty filter because you were a little self-conscious?
Beauty filter.
Yeah, so none of your freckles are showing, he's saying. Remember,
Oh, is that what he's saying?
Yeah, he was saying none of your freckles were so they can't see the souls.
Oh, you want me to go turn? Yeah. No. I turned that off. I thought. No, I turned it off because I said I wanted.
I was making a joke because I said you were self-conscious. You just don't. Barb says, and the wood background. Yeah, we did buy some nice wood to throw behind us.
Look at this. Now I look super. Now I look super smooth. Look at this. Now I have no lines in my face, no wrinkles.
Oh my God, you just got. Wait, that's why they all said you look younger than me because you got beauty filter on. That's what. Yep. If you didn't have the beauty filter on, they'd all call you the old ass.
Look, beauty filter, and then we're gonna come over here. I'm gonna click the studio effects, and then I'm gonna turn these bad boys on. Look at this.
Oh fuck, dude. Hokage says, not sure if you saw this the first time I asked, but Codations, what is your favorite anime?
My favorite anime is going to be the only anime that I've ever seen. Don't judge me. And that is going to be Sword Art
You just
Online.
got super dark. What did you do? Dude?
Why?
I don't know.
I didn't do anything.
You fucking with shit again? You did something, dude.
Oh my gosh, dark. Dude. This is the worst, bro.
There you go. You're good again.
The worst. Literally, do you know what I'm doing? I'm closing a bright white window on my screen.
Close it.
I literally had it closed.
Don't touch nothing.
Dude, this is horrible. Listen, okay, remember how you said 30 minutes prior to stream tonight we're gonna hook up our video cams, and then we were like confused on time zones and stuff here? Yeah, no, we needed like an hour prior to get this shit situated, dude.
I needed 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh, dude. I still ain't figured my shit out.
Cam says my favorite is Attack on Titans. I think that series is so overhyped. I don't get it. I do not get it. I don't know why it's so damn popular. Yasuo says, I'm eating food. Hello, people. What are you eating, Yasuo? Barb says, Code is hungry for souls.
Hey, I forgot to elaborate, dude. No. So the only anime that I have actually officially watched was in 2020, literally like 3 months ago. I made a poll in my Discord for my YouTube channel. I had asked, what anime should I check out and watch? Because what ended up happening is I had a buddy come stay the night at my house, and he met my son for the first time, and then he basically was like, dude, you got to watch this anime on Netflix. Just kidding, I lied. I have seen two, you got to watch this anime on Netflix. And I'm like, all right, well, what anime? Well, it's called Stay Night. Fate Stay Night is what it's called. I don't know. It's like a super short anime. But it was actually really, really good. Like I was totally into it. I was like finding myself, constantly trying to watch the next episode, like any chance I got. And so then from there, that's when I was like asking people around, like, what should I watch? And then somebody had suggested, they were like, if you're new to anime, you probably could get into, Sword Art Online. Like they said, it's like a pretty, easy one to get into, like, as an early one. I don't know if that's true or not. But I started watching it, and then I was instantly hooked, at least for the first season. Now I watched the second season, and I did not like it as much. Like the Gun Gale Online did not hook me as much as SAO. And then the third one I finished watching, and then that one again wasn't, I don't know. It just wasn't.
I heard the third one was. I heard the third one because the second one was kind of I heard the third one was better though, but I haven't seen the third one.
The third one was better than the second one. I don't think the third one was better than the first. I think for whatever reason that first season was like their cream of the crop. It was the best in my opinion.
Yeah.
But Fate, yeah, Wolf said yes. I see in the chat here. So Fate said it was awesome. Yeah, dude, Fate Stay Night. That's the only one that I've seen on Netflix, but it's very, very good. If you haven't checked it out, it's pretty cool. Like the concept behind it, and then the artwork is really good. One Punch Man. I haven't seen that one, but I've heard a lot about it. That one's more of like a comic thing, isn't it? Like it's like a funny anime because he like one punch kills people.
Yeah, I don't know anything about One Punch Man. It isn't my style of thing. Eclipse says, but I only watched the original Sword Art. I think the original Sword Art was the best for sure. It was so good.
Yep.
I don't even think there was more than one season, right, of the first one that came out.
Oh, wait. Am I wrong? That's not Sword Art Online is not the original Sword Art.
It's not the original. The original one came out, oh Lord, I don't know, 10 years ago, I think. 9 years ago, 10 years ago. The original Sword Art.
Interesting. Okay, I did not know that. So I thought that was the one that I had watched that was on Netflix, but I guess not.
Yeah. I don't.
You gotta catch up on chat. It's burning so fast. You gotta go. You gotta go.
I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I try to catch up on some of it. I can't catch up on all of it.
Well, I don't.
Hogaga says, "Bruh, the Fate series is such a clusterfuck as far as continuity and plot." Barb says, "I think I'm a poser. I love Japanese culture, but I don't watch anime. I like soap operas, though. Is that a Japanese thing or is that an American thing?" Clip says it was good until it was turned into a harem anime. I don't know what harem means. Cam Block says, "I love it how the person on the right's mic keeps on getting cut out." Wait, Codations or mine? Because his doesn't sound like it cuts out for me. Prentice says, "Geez." Wolf says, "I've seen all 3 series and the interactive novel." Barb says, "Yeah, Japanese soap operas." Yes says, "Don't ask." Wolf says, "You should check the prequel to Fate Zero, or to the prequel Fate Zero." That must be the
okay. Yeah. So let me ask you a question. So like I'm all over the place with this chat. So like some of these people that were referring to the series are all different series, like Wolf. So as Wolf responding back to me from the Stay Night series or the Fate Stay Night series on Netflix, I'm assuming.
I thought he was talking about. Yes, he was. He said.
Okay, cool. Gotcha. Awesome. Yeah. So then in that case,
I've not seen any of the Fate animes. I've not.
It's pretty good, dude. It's pretty good.
I saw the first and second. I saw the first and second season of the new Sword Art Online. But again, I couldn't really get into it either. I heard the third was better, but I don't know. Princess says, "Why Codations? Why are your pupils so dilated?" He's high. What the? Come on. Oh, Cam says, no, not the mic. The green screen makes it cut out of the frame. So, oh, yeah. It's funny. If he stands up and walks backwards a touch, he just disappears.
Yeah, dude, this is
or his head
horrible.
would disappear or whatever.
Dude, that's the one thing I need to pick up on. As soon as my government assistance stimulus check kicks in, I'm gonna go buy a green screen. Because
there you go, dude. That's $600 you're about to get. go get dude, the M200, $500. There you go. There's what you spend your $600 on.
By the way, Codations from YouTube chat here. It says, if you like SAO Part 1, I would totally recommend this anime called ReZero. Interesting. I'll have to take notes on that so I can.
So wait, well, here's my question, Codations. So now that you've watched have you made a decision? Do you like anime overall? Because even you might like it, but like, do you actually see yourself watching more anime, or is it kind of like, I watched it, it's cool, but I prefer regular movies, or because you only have so much time between gaming, regular movies, family. Like, do you actually see anime as something you see yourself continuing to get into, or are you just kind of like, after watching what you have watched?
Yeah. No. I totally dig it. Like I could find myself just investing a lot of time, anytime that I'm going to watch some type of TV or something, I could totally get down to just watch an anime. But the thing that I haven't finessed yet or haven't figured out is exactly what anime style I like. You know what I mean? Because like, here's the thing, like SAO, I really like, or at least the one that I had watched on Netflix. Okay. So again, I don't know which one that is, if it's old, new, or whatever, but like the one on Netflix, I watched the first season. And I really like the combat, and then the art style and everything, but the the interesting part to me is like, I don't know how, I don't want to say weird. Weird's a bad word. I don't want, I don't know, man. Like there's a point where I feel like it gets too much for me in the sense of like, weird shit. Like, I guess is the best way to put it. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like I like Sword Art Online, right? Like the concept is like video game related, do you know what I mean? You know, and then they're like, you know, they're virtual diving into like a video game world. Like the whole concept is very cool. And like, okay, so like somebody just posted in here, the very bottom chat is, you know, Death Note. So like I've seen an episode of Death Note years ago that I thought was actually pretty cool with my brother, right? Like, so that would be fine. But like I've also seen some stuff that's like so far out there where like, you know, like I don't want to say like tentacles, like tentacle porn, but tentacles as in like weird, like, you know, people like turning into like shapes and stuff and like weird, you know, like that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's too far for me in that sense, but I don't know.
Yeah, we're not talking about hentai. You don't. I don't know what the hell you're watching.
Maybe that's the confusing part. I don't know. Like, but like I know that like there's that section of anime, but then there's also like the hardcore, you have to like watch it in like Japanese or Chinese version and read subtitles anime. And like I just don't know if I could get into that, man. Like I don't know. I might be a person who likes anime with English dubs. Like, is that a bad thing? Like, I feel like
I pretty much watch all anime now dubbed in English. I don't watch too much anymore where it's where I have to read the subtitles and where it's in Japanese and I read the subtitles. I used to a lot, but I don't as much anymore. Ryan says, "Is that codations?" It is codations. Princess, once the tentacles and poop, yeah, once the tentacles and poop come into play, I'm done. Well, I don't know what the hell you guys are watching.
Dude, I'm telling you, Princess, I'm right there with you. Nope, that is a hell.
That's called hentai, and yeah. Cam says, I just realized why your stream came up on my homepage because I watched and liked your video on how to stream from your phone. Yeah, it was a good video, dude. And then they're saying, how come no one's recommended Death Note to him? Because I was kind of getting a feel for what he liked. He's only seen 2 series. I mean, I could recommend Death Note just because I think it's a great anime series, but if it's not the type of anime he's interested in, it doesn't really.
Yeah. No, I think Death Note would be one that I want to check out. Somebody recommended one in my Discord. I'd have to go back and scrub and find it, but like I clicked on it and I like went to go watch it. It was on like Hulu or something, I think, maybe HBO. I don't know. But I clicked on it to watch it, and there was no English dubs. It was all like reading subtitles, and I was instantly turned off because the first episode was like super slow. You know what I mean? Like you got to like learn, you know, kind of the backstory behind the character. And then I'm like trying to like read, and they're like having full blown conversations, and it's just like, you know, and then it's like just read, and I'm like, nope, definitely not gonna sit here and read for 2 hours.
Here's the funny thing, I actually prefer reading. I read, you know, I read every day, like books and stuff. So like I actually watch American English shows with subtitles on. Like just normal, anything and everything I watch has the subtitles on because I prefer to read it versus just the
only time I've ever, well, it was a good chunk of my life, was when me and my cousin lived together when we were in college, my freshman year in college. We had an apartment together, and my cousin is deaf. He's 10 years older than me, and he's full deaf. So like everything was subtitles. So that was the only time. And then I did get faster at reading subtitles, you know, like, but for the most part, I just learned to, you know, like zone them out, you know what I mean? Realistically, you know what I mean? Like they're there on the screen, but they don't bother me. And that's kind of that's kind of how it worked with like everything else. Like I watch like TV or my wife will show me like a TikTok video, right? And it's like, you know, the TikTok videos where you can't just watch the damn, you know, 60 or 6-second video. You got to like read what the hell they're talking about, because apparently they don't have enough time to put it in the description, you know, like that kind of video. And so most of the time I watch it and I'm like, what's going on? She's like, oh my gosh, did you even read the damn thing? I'm like, why the fuck am I going to read for 6 seconds? Like, give me something funny on the screen. So like, you know, I mean, I'm literally the same way on everything. Something will come up on the screen and it'll be like, oh, you got to read this thing. And I'm like, lost my interest. I'm done. Not donating. Nope. You better have somebody up there talking.
Ryan says, Derek, he looks more manlier than you, I guess, assuming codations. And they said it's the beard. No, he's actually just more manlier than me. It's not the beard. He is.
Listen, I'm in the Midwest. You
Yeah,
know,
they're
that's
they're
how it
solid
is.
out there. They're solid out there.
That's the way
Princess
it's gotta
LOL
be.
codations, laughing my ass off. He don't read, all right?
Nightbot says, enjoying the stream. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified when I go live.
Oh,
Exactly.
thank you,
I
Nightbot.
agree, Nightbot.
Nightbot,
I
thanks for
agree.
looking out. Thank you. Thank you for your hard work.
How much you pay this Nightbot guy to come in here and pose as a
Free.
NPC?
Free.
Free.
He does it for
Free.
free, dude.
You got to watch JoJo's, if nothing else, just for the meme.
Never heard of it.
I've never heard of it either.
I will say you got to be careful because there's a lot of anime that is very kiddie type anime, and you'll get with the demographic of Twitch and YouTube and stuff, you'll get a lot of recommendations for that you'll turn on and you'll be like, what the, this is like shows for a 13-year-old.
Interesting. No, I love me a Kit Kat bar because they're so good.
Oh my, is that the new birthday cake one or the mint one that I saw?
Mint.
Ew, dude, that's nasty ass. Who eats mint? How many people chat? Who likes mint versus who
you don't
doesn't?
like thin?
No, I hate
You don't like
mint.
thin mints, dude? Oh my
no,
gosh,
they're they're the spawn of Satan. He created that candy.
dude.
That's why you like it, you soul
So good.
sucker.
Dude, I'm
Listen, I got an anime series for your red ass. Soul Eater.
Perfect. I'll watch it.
He also says JoJo was good. I mean, it had an
all
alright plot with the whole family line between seasons, but I didn't like the art style changes personally. Ryan says, I like mint. Princess says mint, question mark. You don't know what mint is, Princess? Ryan says peppermint, Princess. Princess, laugh my ass off. Ew. Thank you, Princess.
Princess is constantly on some next level shit.
Ogaga says, hold up, you ain't ever seen Naruto? I've seen Naruto, all of the episodes.
Nope. Never seen it. I've seen I think I watched like the very first episode, like I mean I'm talking like when did it come out? Like 2006 or something. Like I think I watched the first episode. And it was because we did not have cable as a kid. And I was over at my cousin's house and he had it recorded or whatever, like on, what was it? The very first, like TiVo or whatever the hell it was. Yeah. And so I watched the first, I think the very first episode, and I like fell asleep halfway through it, like staying the night at my cousin's house.
I once tried to go back and rewatch it, like start all the way from the beginning. And the first episode was in 4:3 aspect ratio. And I was like, nope, fuck this.
Yep. And back to the second question on that, or Dragon Ball Z. So I know a lot about Dragon Ball Z, and I have maybe watched one episode in my entire lifetime. And I think it was, what's the big fat, gooey pink guy, you know, that like molds into like random shit.
I've never seen it, so I have no idea.
You've never seen Dragon Ball Z either? Nope. Yeah. Anyways,
not even one episode. Nothing.
There's this big fat fluffy dude. And like, yeah, so I saw that episode. And I don't know why. I don't know what exactly happened or why I caught that episode, but that was one that I had watched. Maybe it was on like Cartoon Network or something, like late at night.
Yeah, I think that's what got me into Naruto and Bleach. Because I thought Bleach was but both of those do have a lot of filler episodes, as Wolf is saying.
Bleach has a mobile game. Do you know that?
I think they have more than just
Bleach.
a mobile game. I think they have an actual PC game as well.
Yeah. They might. But I'm talking about like Bleach actually has like a hero collector idol mobile game, like right up my alley. But I haven't played it because I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not you know me. I'm not a mobile gamer, so yeah, I'll definitely not check that out.
Perfect. Yep. Nope. Nope. I know. Dude, did you see, I know that neither one of us have been playing Genshin Impact anymore, but did you see that they finally released 1.2, I think is what it is? So they dropped like a whole new area on the map, a couple new characters, and added some new features and stuff to the game, a whole brand new update.
I did see that they released 1.2 only because for some goddamn reason in the Android Play Store, whenever there's like new updates to it, it like gets like some kind of priority listing on the App Store where it like says happening now in Genshin, and it like has like some kind of little advertisement for them. I don't know if they pay for that or what, but
oh, dude, they definitely pay for that. Oh yeah,
it annoys the shit out of me.
It's a hot ad slot. Oh yeah, dude, they definitely pay for it.
I don't know. I think I'm reaching that age where I just find myself more and more annoyed with ads the older I get. I'm like, I'm so over ads on fucking everything nowadays. Every app I use, every fucking web. I'm just so like even ad blockers don't work that well anymore.
See, and I feel like I'm like complete opposite. Like I'm so different, and maybe it's because I don't know, like maybe it's because I currently work in that field, but like I'm the opposite, dude. I'm like so I don't know. Like I don't get bothered by like the ads that like pop and fill up my Facebook. Do you know what I mean? Like as I'm scrolling, like if I open up like a browser tab, like at work, right? And I hit up like Amazon and I'm like, oh, green screens, right? And then like that night I'm sitting there chilling on Facebook, scrolling down, laying in bed. And then like all I see is green screen ads. Like that doesn't bother me. Like it's weird. Like I'm a completely different in that aspect. I'm more of like very interested and curious on like how ads are going to manifest me, in the future. Do you know what I mean? Because like the way I see it, and I could be completely wrong, you know what I mean? But like I see it as like, I feel like just shit's going to get more and more tailored to, the individual. Like I could see it like you're going to be driving down the road, you know what I mean? And then like you're going to hit a sign, or there's going to be like, you're going to be in the mall, right? And there's going to be something like, like a digital like frame on the wall, right? For like an advertisement. Mm-hmm. You're going to walk up, and because your privacy is not going to be there anymore, that sign is automatically going to reach out to the internet, find any information it can on you, including cookies and everything. And then it's going to be able to tailor an ad specific to you looking at that ad in a public place.
Well, yeah,
I mean, that's going to happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, it shows that there's sci-fi movies and futuristic movies where you see that happening. Where it, like reads your irises or something and like links that to, or just you. I mean, they don't even, everybody thinks that, but like they could just look at you and probably be able to photo recognize you versus other people. So, I mean, I agree. Right. I think it's going to become more personalized. I don't have an issue with the personalization of them per se, like some people do. I do think it's kind of creepy how much all these companies spy on you, but that's a whole nother topic of privacy and security kind of in this new world, which I'm happy to discuss. But I have the issue when there's no option. I don't like that it's opt in first, or that it's default opt in. I think I think it should be default opt out, and you should have to opt in if you want those features, more tailored ads and stuff like that. Just because I'm really kind of, I mean, again, it's not that I mind the average, like whenever I start talking about this stuff, people like be quick to like, well, if you do nothing wrong, there's no reason to care if everybody has your info. And I get that. And I don't care that ads get more personalized. That's probably a good thing, honestly. I'd at least rather be showed ads to things that I actually would want to buy versus just random generic ads. But just overall, when it comes to security and privacy, I'm not a big fan of the pervasiveness of being tracked everywhere you go. I mean, it's crazy to me that Facebook not only tracks you on Facebook, but now tracks you on any type of website. If you go to my website, Facebook knows that with their Facebook track. I mean, that to me is a little weird that they need to go that far.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's totally weird, but again, I see it a little bit differently. Like, I agree with you in the sense of like the privacy thing, right? And if we were having this, in my opinion, if we were having this conversation like 3 years ago, right, 3 or 4 years ago, I would definitely be on board to be like, oh no, you know what I mean, less tracking software, less privacy, don't opt us in, don't do this. Like, I would hardcore be pushing that agenda, because I agree with you, right? Like in the sense of, your personal privacy, and tracking things, and like you said, like pre-opt-ins and stuff, like, you're automatically opt in, but not having to turn it on. Like, I completely get that. But on the flip side, dude, everything's tracking you nowadays. Do you know what I mean? Like everything, like even devices. Like I saw this like 60 Minutes episode, man, where like this guy literally took like a cell phone, like a track phone, and then like it was a smartphone, turned off like the internet and everything like that onto it, walked around New York City like all day long, and had two phones in his pocket, one tracking him, the entire day, one not. And then when he got to an internet source and he stopped, he turned them on, it then uploaded all of that information, into Google, into the cloud, you know what I mean? So then it still tracked all of his information. Like, I mean, there's just like it literally almost feels like it doesn't exist anymore. You know what I mean? Like, like you're being tracked, you're being watched, your history is always there, your cookies are always there, your ads are tracing you, websites, like you said, are like tracing you after you leave the website. You mean like there's just so much shit. It's just like I'm at the point now where I've kind of just hit that wall where it's like, screw it. You know what I'm saying? Like I've kind of just hit that point where it's like, you know what? At this point, I'm just kind of like, fuck it. You mean, I mean, like everything's tracking me. You know what I mean? Like I might as well, like I'm looking at it in the other sense now, where like I'm like turning the eye to being like, well, you can't beat them, so I might as well, jump full force in because I might as well take advantage of it all. It's like, okay, sure, I'm gonna go ahead now, look at something on my phone, so then that way when I get to work, it'll just fill my ads full of this shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I might as well just go ahead and try to take advantage of it the best that I can. But I do agree with you in the sense of like privacy. And I mean, I know like for me, I don't care, right? Because like, I'm an open book. I've got, like you said, I've got nothing to hide, but more than just the hiding part, I don't really feel like anything's invading, anything of mine, but I do agree with the sense
I just think where people get mixed up on that argument. Well, first, let me catch up on chat real quick. We had a lot of people chatting now about it seems people are interested about this stuff. First, Ryan says, happy 2 years, Derek, talking about how long he's been following me. Yo, thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you being around for 2 years. Princess says, I feel like I'm being brainwashed into buying stuff. Ryan says you are. Well, and that's my number one issue with it is number one, marketers nowadays, they have gotten so clever, and I'm not saying it's their fault, but algorithms have gotten so clever through the minute split testing that they're able to do all the time on you, that they are affecting a part of your brain that you almost can't control. And so that's my problem that I have with it is it's like they're getting you to buy shit that you wouldn't buy if not for that biological need that they're triggering in your brain that I feel personally is unethical. It's like, it's like trying to stay away from sugar. The shit's hard. Like, and then you got someone purposely using that shit on you, like that shit inside of you that like using certain colors that trigger you to want to buy, using certain like all that stuff, which I know they've been doing it for years, but still to me, I'm just like, that's unethical. You want me to buy your shit? Make a really good product that I actually need. And if you do that, people are going to buy your shit. Everybody else that's trying all these marketing tactics, to me, it's like, well, that means your shit ain't selling. And if your shit ain't selling and you're having to do all these marketing tactics, it probably means you got shitty product that no one needs or wants and doesn't want to buy. And now you got to do all this unethical shit to sell it. But that's just my view on it. Hold on. And then Princess says, wait, Facebook knows when you go to your website. Facebook, the way their tracking works is it downloads it to your computer. And then because everybody's so tied into Facebook and stuff, most websites have Google and Facebook tracking codes on their own websites, including mine. I do it as well. I don't really, I mean, you're not left with much of a choice. So I'm not like saying these guys are totally evil and it's all, but it's hard. It's hard decisions. It's not as black and white as it may seem. So yes, they know when you go on to they know all the different websites you travel to. Ryan says, yes, Princess, you didn't know that. Princess says, how is that legal? Then she says, deletes browser history. Even if you delete your browser history, they already have it in the cloud saved. So you're not safe just because you do that. Ryan said, I'm not reading the anime stuff. Sorry, guys, I'm past the anime stuff. Yas says, I don't own a phone. Princess says, I'm not going to lie. For a long time, I thought Google was reading my mind. That's actually funny. You know how many times, because I also, like Codations, I worked in marketing for a long time. I had a marketing business. I did a lot of these tactics that I'm now saying I think are unethical. I just didn't realize that at the time. I was just kind of bought in that this is what all marketers do. And then I realized that there's people out there, lots of people out there that make products and do stuff that don't do all these marketing tactics, and they sell their shit because it's actually good shit that people want and need. So I got out of it personally. Again, not that I believe it's completely evil, but I just think a lot of it is. Like, I don't know if you saw it completely like kind of related, but did you see, Codations, that TikTok actually banned MLM programs completely off of their website the other day? And there's supposedly a lot of the other social media sites are now going to do that as well. So all those like marketing, trying to sell all those essential oils or selling all they TikTok completely banned those from their website, and it looks like all the other social medias are going to be following that as well, which I
No,
think is
I
a
did
huge
not.
win personally.
Yeah, I did not know that. I didn't even know that they were banning it off of their platform.
Yeah, yep.
It's interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
I
I
just
mean, dude, I'm curious, man. I mean, but I do agree with you on like the whole. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I do agree with you on the unethical, tactics and everything. I just was referring to me personally. I was referring to, just the fact that like I've gave up on like trying to like hide under the radar. Like I've got my father-in-law is one of those people, to this day, what I mean? Like, he's got a laptop, like he literally puts like a piece of tape, like on his webcam on his laptop, he's got like, what I mean? Like, all this stuff, doesn't want any of his information out there on the internet, doesn't want anything anywhere, he's leery of his smartphone, what I mean? All of this stuff, like doesn't want to, like we bought him like what is it, an Alexa, we bought him, things like that, like in the past. And like, he doesn't want to use any of it because he thinks it's all listening to him and, and sending that recording to the government and all this shit. I'm literally just like, dude, I'm in my opinion, what I mean? My opinion is like you said, if you're not hiding anything, then why the fuck does it matter? But then the other side of it, then I see then I talk to people that's like, well, yeah, I know, but that's invaded my privacy. I have a right, to not disclose any information. And it's just like, it's like who, I don't know. It's like who cares? Like at the end of the day, like
well,
that's kind of the way I
yeah,
feel, but I don't know.
And that's typically the argument with this kind of stuff. And here is my my kind of argument back. And also before I give this argument back, I just want to say, guys, the chat is moving hella fast. And I appreciate everybody talking. And I will try to like pick out messages, but I can't keep up. Like I can't keep up with us having a conversation and the chat. So please forgive me. Please understand. I will try to pick out like, stuff as we're going and stuff. But it's just
If you want
I'm
us to say
realizing
something and it's
I'm realizing it's impossible for me. You might have to say stuff a couple times or something.
that's what I was gonna say. Just
Yeah,
copy
like
and paste, drop it in multiple times if it's something you want us to say.
but okay, so let's see. Let's see. So like this is my big thing, like to kind of go into this again. So man, hold on, I'm doing a Google
What?
search real quick.
Oh. To say your face is just frozen on screen for a split second. You're staring off. I'm like, what do you? Oh, he's thinking. This is his thinking face on. He's got the big brain face.
Yeah, no. So like if you so I just wanted to do it to make sure I wasn't just BSing, but I thought I had before. So like if you do a search on Google of like people that have gotten their like bank accounts frozen, even when they did nothing wrong, because of the thought that something was wrong, or people that have got arrested and then later it got overturned because the cops thought they had something on them because of data surveillance and stuff, and then found out it wasn't true. Like the number is not like it is probably small compared to the but the fact that it even exists to me right there is my reason why I'm like, I don't think it's a smart. That's why I'm big into Bitcoin. It's why I'm big into privacy. I don't know if you like, I've done videos on my website on like installing Tails, which is a private operating system on computers that lets you browse the web completely anonymously using the Onion browser. It's called Tor. It's a web browser that anonymizes you. I'm real big on that stuff because the fact is like if I'm doing anything that's related to anything financial, anything like just the chance that you could get wrongly accused to me is enough reason to then do this stuff. I don't know. I mean, people that have gotten arrested because their cell phone said they were in an area, which they were, but then they didn't actually do anything and later it got overturned. Like I've heard those stories. And again, even if the chance is small, like 0.01% or 0.1%, I don't know. I think it's big enough that you should take some precautions, at least with the important stuff. My normal day-to-day browsing, yeah, I just use the normal internet. My normal financials, yeah, I just use my bank's website and all that stuff. But like
So here's a real
my
question.
big stuff, I do,
interject you.
other places. Go ahead.
I got to interject you really quick. So the real question is then is that all right? So I get it, right? So you use that other stuff when you're doing like financial and everything, but what do you do when you look at your porn? Are you in like a private browsing session, or what do you do?
Typically,
Or you're old school and you got DVDs still?
no, I use you can download the Tor browser on your mobile device. Or Brave browser's another good one that supposedly doesn't
Wait,
track.
wait. So you're a mobile porn user? Interesting.
Well, no, I
Only
mix it
mobile
up.
device?
Both. But I have Tor on all my devices.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah. So I
Very cool.
use that for
Asking for
everything.
a friend, Princess says.
Mhm.
Cough, cough. Yeah, I'm curious about that. Asking for a friend. Dude, I'm just straight up Google
Yasa says
Chrome
I use the
private.
mirror.
Bro, I'm literally just Google Chrome, right click that bad boy, private browser, boom. That's me straight.
Tentacles coming out 3D. He's got the goggles on. Tentacles coming at him in 3D. VR
No,
tentacles.
no, definitely not. Definitely not. But I will tell you what, it is these goggles right here, baby. That's what it is right here. These are my cum shields.
Princess says, so does incognito mode do nothing? I'm assuming she's talking about on like Chrome or Firefox. Well, let me ask you this, Princess. Who is the giant company spying on all your shit? Who are the top 3, we'll say? Google, Facebook. Wait, who owns Chrome? Google? I don't know that I would trust it personally. I don't
Nah,
know
dude.
that I would trust it.
Personally, if it was me, yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't. I feel like if you are gonna do something, and you don't want to be traced at all, then then the Tor browser or something, of that sort would be the better way to go. I completely agree with that. I'm just saying, for me personally, I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kind of like, whatever. You know what? I'll just try to go incognito mode. So then nothing is on my end, user end. You know what I mean? That's accessible. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well,
my
let
wife
me,
can't come in here and see, see my browsing history and, and judge me for, the videos that I watch.
Wait.
That we don't
If you
act
watch
on.
an incognito on your computer, it might not track it across but it still downloads media to your computer that can be found in your temporary internet, in your temporary browser download stuff.
I don't think so, because I've got
pretty
my
sure it
browser set up to where when I exit
when
out
you
of
close
Chrome,
okay,
it
well,
dumps
that's cool.
everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and that's even on like my regular Chrome. Like I've got all my Chrome settings to where like when I leave, it like as soon as I click the X button, it dumps out everything. So like when I click on Chrome,
on your
it
personal
acts like it's
computer.
brand new every single time.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
So in that case, I guess I should disclose that too. I mean, I guess a person can't just go in incognito mode, but yeah, I know. I mean, I've got like those settings set up too. So I mean, yeah, I've got it to where I just as soon as I leave, either whether it's incognito or regular, I dip out. It supposedly now, quote could be on the Google server somewhere, but
Well,
for
yeah,
me,
that won't delete on Google side. That would only delete on your personal
right.
computer. So you can still be
Correct.
tracked
Yep.
and everything about that.
Exactly.
So yeah, and interesting with that, because somebody said NordVPN. Yasuo says NordVPN. You actually have to find a VPN that does not keep logs, and actually, they're far and few in between. Most of the big ones you hear about, NordVPN and all them. I could be wrong on this, so you'd have to fact check. So let me just say it this way: you want to make sure that the VPN you're using does not keep logs. Some of the more secretive ones, they delete logs like every hour, and they are typically in countries like where the Pirate Bay is hosted, where the laws that allow them to do that, because most places do not allow them to delete the logs like that, and they actually have to provide them to law enforcement when they're subpoenaed for them. So you actually have to get the correct VPN to be safe, or you're still not safe.
Right.
Now
Right.
again, I mean, this sounds like shady, but like I don't, and I would agree with Codations that the chance of something bad happening by you sharing your data, if you're not doing anything illegally, is slim to none, pretty much impossible. But I don't know. I tend to believe, as Codation says, ads are getting more and more, personalized. Things are getting. If you look at history, it always kind of leads to more control of people, more control of, and I guess I just like having as much of my own control as possible. I don't want someone leaking my tentacle porn to everybody, because then somebody could use that against me.
Right.
This
Nope, I
guy
get it.
watches they all think I'm Codations. So
Right. No, I completely get it. No, like I said, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, it really just depends on, the what exactly a person is looking, is looking to either hide or disclose, do you know what I mean, or which side they're looking at it on, because again, I mean, it's all over the place, because my father-in-law, he's very much, like you said, anti-government control, nothing whatsoever, like he's the person that they're, they mandate a mask. To wear a mask, and he's a hardcore, like, just because they mandate it, he's not going to wear one. You know what I mean? He literally won't go to any store or appointments or doctor's office or anything, even if he has to and has had this appointment, because now they're telling me he has to wear a mask, and he's the type of person that's like, you're not going to tell me what to do, kind of person. And then you've got people, on the other side where they're very much like, well, I just follow any laws and any regulations. If the government suggests it for me, it's got to be the best thing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just kind of like riding in the middle. It's like, fuck it. I got to wear a mask in here. All right, shit, whatever. It takes me 2 seconds. I'll put it on. I'll walk in here, do what I got to do, and I walk out and I take the mask off. It's fine. Or there's times where I show up with no mask and I walk in and then I do my thing and I leave. I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place. It's kind of, I know that brings us into a different topic, but I just wanted to, kind of put that out there.
I think I'm very much
perspective of person.
Yeah, I think I'm very much. I mean, I'm probably more like I think you said your grandfather. I think I'm pretty like
no, father-in-law.
Father-in-law. Because I am. I mean, I've said it on stream. I'm very libertarian, which means I don't like government, and I want the bare minimum government to have like the bare minimum. I just think, government's overinflated. I think they got too much reach, too much power. I'm very much minimal government. But I would say I'm libertarian, but with also some, I like some socialist programs we have. I'm not like, I admit that. I don't care. It's nice that we have certain things that kind of help the benefit of the entire society. But I am very much like using the example of the mask. It just says I don't mind masks. I was forced to wear a thong, though I'd have an issue. Says hello, Ryan. Have a good night, brother.
Hold on. We gotta bring this back.
Oh god.
You don't? Like, you don't wear them? Is that a thing? Like, you don't wear them?
You're asking me? Wait, hold on.
No. Princess here.
Yeah.
I'm replying back to her.
She's saying she doesn't wear thongs. Correct.
Interesting. Okay. Anyways.
Well, says Princess, you're just the greatest. Like me personally, like I don't believe anybody should be mandated to wear a mask. But I also believe if you're but like I'm like you though. It's like, but I wear one when I go out because I'm like, if you're a decent human being, wear a fucking mask. It's not that big of a deal and you're protecting other people. But to think that it should get mandated or that we should get like forced by government, then I'm totally against it whenever it goes to that point. And that's on anything. Says, if you bend over in those things, you'll get a rope burn in your crack. Not my thing, LOL. Glad I don't know about that. That does not sound pleasant.
It does not sound pleasant whatsoever.
Oh, Lord. But that's my thought on it. Like, I don't like it, but.
Yeah, no. I totally agree with it. I totally agree with what you're saying. I mean, and that's kind of the way that I look at it. I mean, it's to each your own, really. Like, I mean, if they, if a person shows up to a store and they don't want to wear a mask, and like you said, if they don't want to, then that's their own prerogative. Is that a word? Yeah, I mean, that's their own thing. They can choose not to do that. It doesn't affect me if I'm wearing a mask. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of the way that I see it more versus. It being a mandatory thing. I get it, people argue or fight, based upon, oh, well, that's my right, or that's this or that, and then, the moment we allow the government, to control one aspect or dictate something, that's giving them a little bit more control, you know what I'm saying? And then they're like, oh, they're going to just take all this control and continue to push more control, which again, I don't know, man, I'm kind of all over the board. I agree with you in the sense of, if it protects other people, and it actually, can aid in any spread of any germs, I'm just going to put it that way. I mean, not rely on, to the COVID thing, but like any spread of any germs, because that's what they do, right? Like, I've heard so many misconceptions around masks, but like, you're putting a mask on, it's holding your, liquid, assets from your mouth and nose, like consumed into your own mask, right? Like, if that's what it's doing, then great. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of, the way I see it. Of course it's not solving, COVID's, of course it's not fixing anything. You know what I mean? Like, of course you can still smell through the mask, whatever the hell people come up with. You know what I mean? It's like, at the end of the day, it's like, then you just do you. That's the way I see it.
Same.
And it's just interesting to me that I still have, like I said, I still have and know people, that are, hardcore hell bent on, not doing this or not doing that based on somebody spying on you or this doing that. I'm just like, look, I'm like, and that's kind of what I've had this conversation with my father-in-law a few times, when he was doing the whole webcam thing, like blocking the webcam and doing all this stuff, and I get it, there's been stories out there, but like, I've made jokes with him, and my joke response to him always is what in the hell do you think the government has, on you, or that they're interested in you in a small town, tiny small town in Iowa, to hack into your webcam? Do you know what I mean? To see what the hell you're doing at your farmhouse with you and your wife. Do you know what I mean? Like I just don't think, I don't know. I think somebody's got to think very highly of themselves. Do you know what I mean? To think anybody's fucking doing that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, like, I get it. I know people have hacked webcams, before, and I understand that. And there's weirdos and freaks and shit out there. I get it. But it's like, I don't know, dude. I walk around my house butt ass naked with the windows open constantly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not worried about it, dude. I'm not worried about my webcam, randomly peeking on, to look at a blank room with nothing in it. You know what I'm saying? Or me recording a video. Like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Princess says he might draw more attention to himself for doing that. Laugh my ass off. Yeah, one interesting thing though, just to point out, and I mean, I agree with Codations in the aspect that again, the government doesn't care about most of what people are doing outside of just, if anything, I think it would be used more for so they like. I think Google and Facebook would be more interested in spying on you on your webcam than the government to see how they can get you to buy more shit. I would actually think they're the ones we need to worry about, not the government. But I will say, interesting enough though, a lot of like I like to play the devil's advocate. So again, I really am not like, I'm not that paranoid. I don't cover my webcams. I don't. Again, to me, it's more about I have my normal online identity. I mean, I'm very public figure. I do live streams. I do a live podcast. I put videos on YouTube. Like I do vlogs of my life with my family out with my kids. Like I don't mind all of that. Excuse me, I'm burping.
That's right.
But then I basically use privacy and the other stuff I know for kind of an online identity for certain things and again, it might sound like, oh, he's doing shady shit, but it's not that you're doing shady shit. It's just there's stuff that I don't want tracked about me, or that I don't want necessarily, that I just don't want to share, not because it's wrong,
Right.
but just because there's some things I prefer to keep personal. And so I
Right.
use those aspects to I learn about it enough to then be able to keep those aspects more safe from prying eyes, if that makes sense. But I will say,
Right.
interesting enough, most people say, oh, don't worry about it, no one cares. But like even Mark Zuckerberg, a lot of the big guys in tech, if they all put tape over their webcams. The creator of Facebook covers his webcam. Which
Which is
grant they're which they are higher up people, so you could argue, well, they have shit that they might need to hide or whatever. They might be working on secret projects, things like that. But I'm just saying, what's interesting is most of the big people working in tech do a lot of this stuff that a lot of normal people are like, oh, you don't need to. They're not worrying about you. Well, why are they so concerned about it then? And they're the people working in this technology.
Yeah, see, I don't know, man. See, like for me, like I don't know, and I mean, I agree with you. I mean, in that case, I guess it makes sense. But I mean, I'm still stuck on the fact that it's like it's a webcam, right? Like I think like what the hell are they gonna see physically? You know what I mean? Through your webcam that you don't want disclosed. Like you know what I mean? Like for me, like I said, what is it gonna be? It's gonna be me sitting here recording a video. You know what I mean? Like my open bedroom. You know what I mean? Like, what is it going to be? An office where you're going to see, somebody's cubicle? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand, like, what a person gains from that besides, like, maybe audio. I mean, maybe hearing something, you know what I mean? Or whatever, not so much of the video, but more like hearing something. I don't know. I mean, it's the concept of it is just interesting to me, like, in general,
Well,
and I
and I
know
think
there's
it
always that
matters.
privacy aspect. Like, people are like, oh, somebody's looking at me, you know what I mean? Like, which I mean, I get it. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
I've never
that
really.
doesn't bother me, the privacy. Like, I don't care if somebody sees me walking around naked in my house. I don't have blinds on my windows. My neighbors, they probably have seen my dingling out a couple times. Like, let's be real.
Let's
But
be real, they ain't seeing it.
again,
That
I
ain't that.
think we're and like you said, I do agree, for most people it's probably a non-issue. But I do think it's important stuff to have and to have knowledge about. Because we do have things like journalists that get have secret sources, and like when
Yep.
Snowden leaks and all that came out about all the mass surveillance our government was doing on the entire American people, normal everyday people, collecting phone conversations and text messages from just normal Americans.
Right.
Because eventually, like, you might not think like, oh, some person sitting in and watching. Yeah, they don't. But imagine when AI gets to the point that it can do it all automatically. So they're just collecting everything, and so you no longer have to worry about whether, you know, and I know this is dystopian type future talk, but imagine that, like, you no longer uh, uh, have to worry about a person checking in on you, but you ran that red light and your phone GPS says you went through it, while the computer knows that the light was red, and you can just get a ticket in the mail from the computer that says you ran this red light. No one was there that saw you, no, but you ran a red light. You broke the law. And I don't think that stuff's far off. I don't think, or not far off. I think it is
That
far
happens.
off.
That happens. That happens already. That happens already in my state. You can drive. You can literally run a red light right now, and then they send you a ticket in the mail.
Right,
And then
right.
and all
If they
it
have
is, and there's
speed
nobody, there's
cameras.
no cop there. There's no cop there. Yeah. There's no cop there. They have pictures of you with the time and date and everything with your license plate in your car. And it says, you know, the light was red at this given moment, and it shows two different pictures. It shows the picture of the red light, and then it shows the picture of your vehicle. I mean, you know, like past or so far, you know, past the line, speeding through the red light. So then they give you a ticket.
Right. So basically with that, you're getting a ticket by a computer.
Right.
But now let's amplify that. So imagine when they can track everything you're doing, what else you can get a ticket for from
Right.
just
No,
having a phone in your pocket. And that's what
yeah,
I'm
no,
saying. To me, it becomes more like, Yas says the algorithm we have now for social media we don't even understand anymore. That's a fact, by the way. I've heard that actually. That the biggest problem a lot of these social media are having right now, and I know all the congressional hearings and stuff that happen, is nobody actually really knows what the algorithm's doing anymore. They gave it the parameters, and then it's kind of, it just knows I need to get people to watch or to be on social media longer, and it does its thing. I think people still understand it. I don't think that it's controlling itself, because if we were saying it controlled itself, then you're talking about a form of consciousness, or some form of base level intelligence, and I don't think code's there yet. Personally, I could be wrong, but I still think it has to give stuff programmed by the programmer, and that it's looking for certain variables and then matching it. I just think it can do a way better job than any human can do in terms of split testing stuff quickly, like just keep adding on things that work, and gets better and better and better. Same with like self-driving cars and everything. It just continues to get more data, and its predictions are able to get better. But we understand still the code that allows it to do that. But like, I don't think that that's actually intelligence yet, or any type of consciousness. That's just the computer testing a bunch of variables and saying these are the variables we found so far that work best for whatever the given scenario is. Does that make sense?
Right. No, I totally get what you're saying. Like, I mean, I don't know, man, because see, like, I'm like, I don't know, I'm kind of like, I don't know, like, I'm kind of different when it comes to the whole automation thing. Like, I don't want to say different. I'm impartial because I see it both ways. And this kind of leaks into my graphic design stuff, right? And my web coding stuff and a bunch of that different stuff. And what I mean by that is so right now you use the Adobe products, right? Or you have used the Adobe products.
Yep.
You know a lot about the Adobe software. And one of the biggest things that I'm a huge advocate for is speeding up my process, right? So like, meaning like Photoshop actions, you know what I mean? Like, automatically, setting up like filters, I mean, to preset filters that I constantly use, like Lightroom, you know what I mean? Like batch editing. I mean, things like these automated, like design stuff. You mean, that you can utilize and you can preset up and you could take advantage of and all of these things. And then the same thing, and then I would go even as far as to dabble into templates, not templates like created specifically by like other people and claiming them as your own, but templates in the sense of like if I constantly post, I don't know, I'm going to say, on social media, right? Like, I could have a template set up in Photoshop that's already got like, a square, like a square size, you know what I mean? I could already have, have it preset to like a black, background, already have, a preset, where my text goes, kind of like my thumbnails with my videos, stuff like that on YouTube. Like, I like that kind of templates and having that stuff set up to where I can just drag and drop and it saves me a crap ton of time. But there is a lot, dude. I mean, I'm talking about a lot, and you probably have seen it too, of designers in the industry that are anti that stuff, that are very much driven on the sense of, well, now, there goes all of your creativity. You know what I mean? You're no longer, you're no longer, creating something, per thing. You know what I mean? Like, if you're throwing in an image that you've taken, like at a photo shoot today, and you're just clicking, the Photoshop action that you set up, you know what I mean, like X amount of times ago, you know what I mean, then it's not, creative or custom enough to to make it look like you're doing any work. Now in this sense, you're utilizing, you know what I mean, like, what I'm trying to get at, like a lot of people, like there's two different sides of it, man. Like, you know what I mean, a lot of people see it as, yeah, it's a time saver, it makes my job a lot easier, you know what I mean, like, having this automation. But then, like, there's other people that see it on the other end of, well, now that, no, now you're not really doing all of the work. I mean, you should be getting paid less because you're not doing, all of that work every single time, type of thing. And then that kind of, like, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it kind of leads me into the robot aspect, right? Like moving into AI, a lot of people don't want automation, or AIs, running stuff. So to give you an example, kind of like what me and you had a discussion about, I know this was not on the stream, but we had a discussion about, like, automation and posting, right? Like when it comes to, like on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, like with our video stuff, right? This kind of leads me into that. Like, you, on one hand, understand that people like a more personalized, or more personal, like, tailored, post, right? Like, so maybe you're saying, like, so you personally, go on there and you'll drop a post, right before your stream, you do some legwork, you hit all the social media platforms that you're on, you drop a post saying, hey, I'm good, I just went live, hey, check me out here, whatever it is. Or maybe you just say, hey, how's your day going, or whatever you're posting. And then me, on the other hand, I've looked at it starting off on my YouTube channel was like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, why would I take my personal, my extra time, a lot of extra time, to physically go to this site to post it, you know what I mean? Like, on this page, like in my mind, I'm thinking, well, shit, why don't I just set something, like an AI or some type of, bot that just automatically takes, when I drop a video, post it onto another website, you know what I mean, that I could potentially be, gain traction from, you know what I mean? It saves me time, you know what I mean? And I don't have to spend my time doing that. I can utilize that time, for either creating more content, you mean, or doing something else. And like, so like, I'm kind of like torn. You mean, to be honest with you, I'm kind of torn in the middle. Like I said, it's just, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. Like, that kind of goes with like AI. Some people like automation. They some people think, oh, having a robot is more efficient. Like financial stuff, having a robot, never makes an issue or never makes an error, can run numbers, you know what I mean? Make sure that everything is calculated correctly. But, you know what I mean? But at the same time, some people would say, well, yeah, but then now you're taking somebody's job. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I do think though that you can, for example, I get what you're saying, and I agree. I mean, I use tech every day. I think if it saves me time, if it saves me, if it can automate stuff, I'm all for it. But I think you're jumping from where we were at. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just not tying it together. So you might have to, but like, I don't have an issue with tech, AI, robots. I have an issue with privacy being breached. Adobe, I make a template in Adobe that speeds up my workflow process. Facebook's not getting that and then serving me ads for that, or some other
Right.
entity is not getting that and serving me ads for it, or whatever, using it for some other purpose. That's something that, unless I'm using the Adobe platform through the browser and I'm using it onto my computer in a program, that's a file that I have saved on my computer that no one else has unless they hack into my computer. But you know what I'm
Right.
saying? There's not a
Right.
privacy issue there. So I don't have a
Correct.
problem. Even social media, I don't have a problem with social media. I just have a problem with some of the. I actually think social media is great, but I think it's just like every other tool in the world. It can be used for good and bad. And I just think it's been allowed to run to a point where marketers and a lot of people that are only interested in more money have taken it to a point of negative. I just think we need rules that say all this AI is great, all this robotic stuff is great, but we need to protect people. We shouldn't be using people as the products. We should find another way to do that. I don't know the exact answer. I mean, ads allow these
Right.
software a lot of times to exist. everybody's not going to pay $10 a month for all of these services that are out there. I mean, people just probably can't afford that. Imagine if you had to pay $10 for YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Adobe, Netflix, Hulu, all of, I mean, and you just had to pay for them all and couldn't get it. I mean, that'd be a lot of fucking money a month you'd end up paying out.
Right.
So but again, I think the difference is I'm only more concerned at the privacy part. I love AI, and I also think I will say, like, even though I'm saying all this, I will actually say, like, not to be like doom and gloom type, because I'm not, but I think it's inevitable. I mean, like, in the chat, a lot of people are kind of talking about robots taking over and stuff. I actually think that's inevitable. I think robots do take over. I think robots become smarter than us at some point. I think AI wins. I think it's just like whether you believe it or not, I'm just using it, because I know some people don't, but let's say you believe we came from apes. This is just another part of the evolution process. It's just now going from beyond biological life forms to, electronic life forms, basically. I think we hit that point at some point, whether that's in 50 years or another 5,000 years. I'm just saying, if you look ahead, you almost can't see it not happening. So I actually think they win. I think stuff like what Elon Musk is doing with Neuralink, which is where we can interface with AI. It's a device that goes on us that lets us connect to, interface with electronic signals and stuff, and then process information much faster than we're able to biologically with our brains. I personally think we need that stuff to compete with AI and stuff in the future. So it's not. It's not that I'm saying, like, I don't want any of this stuff to happen. Again, even if I would say, if it saves, I don't even mind. Like, I've said this before, I think, when me and you were talking Codations, I'm not totally against the Matrix. I'm not totally
Right.
against robots and AI being able to do everything in the real world. And I can jump in an AI program that feels like real life and one day be over in Paris, looking at the Eiffel Tower, and 10 minutes later teleport over to, some other place on the world, even though it's in fake AI, but it looks so real, to experience that. Like, I'm not totally against the whole, Matrix type thing, like where we live kind of a digital life that feels real or whatever. I just prefer to have the option that when it gets to there, instead of like the Matrix where everybody's trapped in there unknowingly, we have the choice to plug or unplug in and out of it whenever we want. So I like the
Right.
technology. I want the technology. I just think the choice needs to stay the individuals in terms of
Right.
privacy, in terms of use. And again, I think the problem with a lot of these programs nowadays is that they're controlling you on a what's it called, like a instinctual level. What's that called, like your primitive level of your mind or whatever that's called. I can't think of the actual word for it.
Subconscious.
Yeah, like they're subconsciously causing you to do, it's almost like a virus in your head that causes you to do something you may not want to be doing, like spending 3 hours on Facebook mindlessly scrolling. I don't think most people, if you ask them, do you enjoy scrolling Facebook for 3 hours a day, would say, yes, I love it. But yet, if you look at most people's phones and you look at the statistics, they're probably spending, and when I say Facebook, insert social media here, but they're spending 3-4 hours on their phone, even though they say that would be something that most people would say, like, no, I don't love spending 4 hours a day scrolling through a social media site. Also,
Right.
there was a new person that mentioned something. Oh, Steve. Steve said there was this test that showed code/robots can learn and adapt and teach themselves new skills. Uh okay, I don't know much about it. I do know that they've gotten to the point where code can write its own code. But again, I think it has to be given instructions from human. Like, it can't come up with a new idea yet. Also, people are talking about, like, well, robots can't replace art and stuff, and I shared a link in the chat. I know people already looked at it, that was showing that there's an AI robot artist that's been creating art that's already sold over £1 million in artwork. Like, they can create art, they can create photograph now, they can completely edit photos and stuff, and it looks crazy. Just look up, like, AI edited photography. It's ridiculous what they can already do. I don't think people realize just how close we are to robots and AI being able to do almost everything we can do. Like, we're there. I
Right.
just don't think we're there yet.
Right. And what I was, and just to jump back to
Yep.
what I originally said about the Adobe stuff, like, no, I was just tacking that on, D. I wasn't trying to like make them the same thing. I was just trying to get your opinion because you use the Adobe products. I mean, like on the automation side, because, you know, AI and robots, you know what I mean? Like in the grand scheme of things currently, you mean, you know, are utilized in that automation. You mean, like, you know, those are, in my opinion, those are still robots. I mean, you know, like they're coded, you know what I mean, you know, to, you know, aid in those, you know, specific anything that you can automate, you know what I mean? So I'm just referring to like, what is your opinion on that take? Like, do you think right now, right? Like if you go to YouTube, you type in somebody like Peter McKinnon, right? Like, you know, all these people who want to be like Peter McKinnon, right? So they're doing these daily, you know, podcasts, vlogs, whatever they're doing, you know what I mean? And they're, you know, taking all these photos. I mean, you know, they're trying to do this Peter McKinnon style stuff, or David Schiffer, you know what I mean, stuff. And but yet the work that they're producing is top notch, right? But like, or like, you know, to the world it's top notch. But then what if you find out that all they're using is a bunch of bought presets that aren't theirs? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know,
Well,
like
hold on. Well,
is
let's.
that a problem or is that not a problem? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because I feel like, you know, like I said, I've heard both sides. You know, I've heard some people say, you know what I mean, like, well, it's technically not their work. You mean, that's not the, they're buying somebody else's presets, or they're using free presets online, you know what I mean, onto a photo that, yeah, they took, but without those presets, the photo wouldn't look good. So it's not really their work. They're not that great. But then you talk to somebody else who's like, you know, yeah, but it makes their work, you know, or their workload a lot easier. You mean, and a lot faster. You know, they can pump out more work, whatever the case is. You know what I mean? And if it's if it's a tool at their disposal, why shouldn't they use it?
Yeah.
You know?
I think personally, here's what I think with artistry in general. I think anytime, I don't think like, you know, there's argument like, you know, and I always bring it up because I do photography. I don't want people to think like I get offended because some people say photography ain't art. I don't really care what other people think. That's like the honest to God truth. I just like
Right.
photography. But in that sense, like, art becomes art when you're consciously making a decision on how you want something to look or feel or whatever. So that means to me, like, you could be a painter. You could, like, Princess paints. Princess paints lots and lots of stuff.
Right.
I can paint a house. That doesn't, painting doesn't, the art of the act of painting doesn't make me the artist. The act of looking at something and deciding how I want it to look. So for example, if I take a picture and I apply a preset and then I look at that preset, like if I take a picture and I don't think about it at all, I'm just out like I wouldn't call that art. If I just go out and snap pictures and I'm like and then I throw on just a LUT that I found online and post it, I don't consider that art. But if I looked around, find the picture, find the angle, maybe change my composition, then I go on and I slap a preset on in Lightroom, but then I don't like how that looks. And so I choose a different preset and I don't like how that looks. And I choose a different preset. And then maybe I like how that looks, but I adjust the exposure a little bit. You're in art, in my opinion. That's art. Like, but that's anything. If I grab a piece of paper and I just make a stick figure that looks like every other stick figure, and I'm not thinking about it, I'm just making a stick figure, I don't think that's art. If I'm trying to make a stick figure that I like looking at, that I think looks cool on the piece of paper, even if at the end of the day it's just a stick figure, art. That's my thought on it.
Right.
So
Right. 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 But that's the problem.
any
Right. But
tool
that's
I
the
can use to
problem with.
speed up. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so any tool I can use to speed up my process to then, like, let's say I know how to, you know, expose the picture and adjust my whites and my darks and my, you know, highlights and my shadows. If I can then use something that allows me to do that automatically in a program like Adobe Lightroom, that then allows me to get to like tweaking the colors faster or tweak so that I can then edit more photos and I get to the part that I actually enjoy the then like again, I'm all for anything like that. Even if even copying creators that are doing well. If somebody like, I don't know why we feel like it's not art or it's not ours if it looks like somebody else's. Like if I like something that you're doing as an artist, then I'm gonna take, like, at the end of the day, people are gonna incorporate stuff from different people they like, and they're gonna throw in some of their own stuff, and it's gonna end up as they grow in the skill, it's going to become unique to them anyways. So I think all we do by bashing people, whether they're using other people's techniques or whatever, is just stopping them from then creating. And we have a society, which it is going in the other direction, but in the last 100 years that have just not created.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Yeah, no. I mean, it definitely like shows some insight into that, and I would agree with you. I mean, the one downside with artwork in general is the fact that it's subjective, right? I mean, because you know, I'm the same way as you, but like the sucky part is to counter your statement, your first statement on the photo, you know what I mean? Like there's no way to tell. Do you know what I mean? So like, so, you know, to go back to your example, you know, like, you know, if you're going outside, you know what I mean? You just, you know, point and click, you know, the camera at something, and then, you know, you throw it into, or, you know, you point and click it, you throw it into Instagram, you click one of the Instagram, you know, preloaded filters, you know what I mean? And you post it on Instagram, right? Like, the sucky part is, unless if that information was disclosed, do you know what I mean? Me and you nor anybody else doesn't know any, you know, amount of time that person spent on it. You know, we don't know if they went, you know, outside to the grocery store, you know what I mean? And point and clicked. I mean, you know, or maybe they did have some type of, you know, background to it, you know, like, oh, I'm going to stand in this spot because this is the spot where I first met my boyfriend, you know what I mean, outside, you know, this thing, you mean, you know, I'm going to take a picture of this, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I guess what I'm trying to get at is, you know, is art in general is subjective, you know, so like, you know, at the end of the day, as a viewer, you mean, we don't know how long it took that person. You mean, you know, and this kind of goes back to like my personal example of this is like, I've painted a lot in acrylic paintings, right? Like on canvas, like in acrylic. And I personally don't understand abstract art. Right? Like I don't. You mean, like, you know, I've seen so many pieces where it literally looks like somebody took paintbrushes, you mean, you know, and dipped it in, you know, red and blue and green paint, you know what I mean, and slung it, you know, at a canvas, you know what I mean, and then they and this, some of this artwork sells for a lot of money, right? Like I'm not talking down this person's artwork. I'm just making a statement. Like, to me, I look at that, I would never own a piece of artwork like that. Do you mean, you know what I mean? Like whatsoever. And B, I don't consider it art. Because I know personally, you know what I mean, you know, like if I was going to do that, do you know what I mean, how easy it would be for me to sling paint onto a canvas, right? Like versus me actually sit down, you mean, you know, and paint a scene, right? Or to paint, you mean, you know, something, right? Like, you know, that I find, you know, amazing, right? Like some sort of like, you know, crazy. Go ahead.
I was just saying, have a good night, Wolf. He said he was leaving.
Oh yeah, good night, bud. You know, good night, Wolf. Thanks for tuning in, man. But you know what I mean, you know, and so I guess like what I'm trying to say with that statement is, you know, is like, I mean, I agree with you, and then at the same time, it's like it sucks, or it's a hard topic in general because when you do talk about art, it's very subjective. You know what I mean? Like everybody sees it differently. You know,
I don't think it's that hard though. I just think everybody's too worried about themselves in life. I really do. If a piece resonates with you, awesome. If it doesn't, who cares? If it took the person 5 seconds to make, awesome. If it took them a year to make, awesome. I think we get too hung up on like, it's funny because everybody always says like, oh, art is subjective, but then we all got our opinion on whether somebody's art is good or not. Like, they spent 5 seconds, so it's not art. Who says it ain't art? I don't know.
Right. Well, that's the subjective part of it. You mean, like, you know, that's the part of it being subjective is the fact that like you can look at it and think it's not art. Another person can look at it and think it's art. You can look at it and say, oh, this looks like shit. Another person could be like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. I want to buy it and put it in my house. You know what I mean? Like that's the subjective part of art. It's just, I'm just saying in terms of like me personally, you know what I mean? Like I'm the same as you, right? Like, you know, you look at a photographer, you know what I mean? Or you know, a photo that somebody's taken. I have a lot of people on Instagram, you know, you see something and it's just like, oh, okay, that's cool. You know what I mean? But then like, you know, then I see something else, like take like Peter McKinnon's like, you know, landscape or something. And I'm like, holy shit. You mean like, you know, that's freaking sweet. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's awesome. But like, you know, but again, you mean, you know, like, you know, it's to each your own. And like I said, and I'm not downing anybody's artwork or, you know, or anything like that. That's not the whole purpose of this. I just was curious on your personal opinion on, you know, presets, you know, Photoshop actions, you know, templates, you mean, you know, that kind of stuff. Because like I said, I'm all over the board. You know, I've heard people, in the industry that agree with it, and then other people that are like, I never use no Photoshop action, downloaded from somebody else, because then I'm not creating my own original work. I'm taking something that somebody else has done. I'm like, yeah, but it's also only turning that photo black and white, you know what I mean? And it's only, and it's a free resource, that tells you that you don't have to give any, you know what I mean? What is it? I forget the damn word. What's the word? Acquire or not acquired? What is it? What the hell's the word? D, when you take something from somebody and they require you to put something down on it.
Attribute.
Yeah, attribute. Yeah. You know what I mean? When they say, that you don't have to do any attribution or whatever, on it, So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm all over the place because I am all for trying to speed up the process.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. And to be honest, it's not like I'm not saying anything about what you think or not. I guess what I'm really saying I'm figuring it out in this conversation, what I think, because I don't really,
right.
Because what I will say at the end, I don't really think about any of that. I just make shit. And if I like it, I post it. And if I don't like it, I post it anyways and I make something else different the next time. And if somebody gives me like a tip and I'm like, oh, you know what? That's a good idea. Then I try to incorporate that in my shit. If somebody gives me a tip and I don't like it, I'm like, cool, I don't care. Have a nice day. Like you'll see comments on my YouTube video where people are like, dude, you did, and I'm like, hey, dude, sorry you didn't like the video. Have a great day, dude. And then most of the times they're, oh, sorry I was so harsh. I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck, man. Like, so I guess I'm just like, I think too many people overthink it all, I guess is my thought on the whole thing. Like, if I can use something that speeds up, if I can use a program that replaces the sky in a photo to something that I like more without me doing any work, I'm going to do it. If I want to replace the sky manually myself because I think it looks better than the AI can do it, I'm going to do it. Like, I guess I don't think, I guess I just don't care enough one way or the other outside of just not wanting to ever be so afraid to post my art.
Right.
Like to not ever overthink posting my art, if that makes sense. Again, but again, I mean, there's things Peter McKinnon does in his videos. I mean, I watch Peter McKinnon because I'm a photographer. I steal some of that. Like, I think art is a collaborative effort. I mean, to think that you created any piece and that you did that on your own, I'm very much of the belief of like global consciousness. Like, anything you can do today is not because of anything you did. It's because of millennial of human beings that have got us to this point anyways, that you can even fucking use a computer to edit photographs or even take a picture.
Well, I can tell you right now, I can tell you another way of rephrasing that is you've learned everything you know today. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so rephrase that. I mean, like, and slow it down for the audience. I mean, you've learned everything. You know what I mean? Like meaning like you've learned it from something, from someone else, from someone teaching you. You mean, from learning on your own from something you've saw or watched. I mean, like at the end of the day, like you're saying, at the end of the day, it subconsciously came from somewhere. You know what I mean? So whether or not you're staring at, somebody's videos every day, copying them word for word, or art for art, you mean every single thing, you know what I mean? Or, you're picking up techniques from watching Peter McKinnon's videos, do you know what I mean? That you can then apply in your own life or your own art. I agree with that. I don't know. I'm a huge fan of Peter McKinnon. I just really like the guy's personality. I've been watching him for years now, but like, I really like his personality, but like, I don't know. I just know a lot of people, who think like, oh, don't buy his, presets, don't buy his, sound packs, you know what I mean? And all this other stuff. I'm thinking like, why not? Like, that's why he's got them there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if they help you, I'm like,
bro.
Yeah, if they have them and you can use them and they make your, like, I'm all for it. I don't know. Again, maybe true artists could argue I'm not a true artist, but my point at the end of the day is I don't care if true artist thinks I'm not a true artist. I just make the shit I want to make, and sometimes I make the shit that I know other people want me to make because I like making people happy. Like, so sometimes that's tutorials, but I still try to do them in my style. I still copy stuff from other people. I kind of, like I said, I mix it all together in that mixing bowl, and then I call it my own. Whether it's truly my own or not, I don't know. You also said it is hard talking about art generally now that we're in the topic. It's so much easier to talk about a specific piece. Then he says, I think he's talking about when you said we learn everything. He said, but that's true with all things, I guess. Princess says, kinda. Then she says, yes, I agree with that, Gradations. Yas says, I'm no expert on this, Princess, just throwing out some opinions. You're the art master. Princess says, yes, that's different, Eric. Now, I do agree. I mean, if Peter McKinnon takes a photo and I go to the exact same spot, I take the exact same photo, I edit it to look exact. I mean, I have it compared on my other monitor, and I edit all the colors and everything so it looks exactly the same. I think I did a tutorial. I don't think I made art. But but
Right.
but if I do all of that and then I change 2 or 3 things and maybe his green trees, I'm like, oh, I don't like how dark his green trees are, so I want them to be lighter. Oh, I don't like the turquoise he made the water so much, so I'm gonna make it more green. Oh, I don't like the brown. Then I think it becomes my own. Like you can copy to learn and then change it to your own, and I think that's
Right.
fine. I think if somebody takes Peter McKinnon's presets, adjust them all, and then label them as their own presets and sell them, it's their own presets. They changed them to how they thought looked best, and then they
Right.
repackaged them and sold them. And I think that's what I'm trying to say, like where you said we learn everything from everybody. That's kind of my point. Like we all learn everything from everybody anyways, but then we should, what I think makes a creative person, an artist type person. Like I don't even know if I like the word artist just because of the connotation, because we always think of like, old school, like painting and stuff like that. But I like the word creative. What makes it creative is when you then take it and start making it your own. Does that make sense?
Right.
That I think's the
Right.
difference.
Yeah. No, I would agree.
Yas says
I
as
would,
long as
I
the
mean, I would
changes aren't too minor. See, I would argue, and this is just my personal opinion, I'm not saying I'm right, but I would argue even if the changes are minor, if you altered something to look more like how you think it should look as a person, what makes you feel like that looks more correct, I think that is creativity. I think that you're taking something and changing it to something else. I mean, that's literally what Peter McKinnon's doing as a photographer. He's taking a picture of something and then he's changing it to how he thinks that photograph should look in his mind, how he saw it that day he was standing there. Same thing I do. Now, again, I'm not talking about on a monetary level. I mean, if your shit's too close to another person's shit, you can get sued, you can talk, but I'm just talking about the default of not creativity versus creativity, if that makes
right.
sense.
No. Yeah. No. I totally get that. And I would basically, the easiest way to put that, like you already said, would be the biggest thing is doesn't matter if the word minor or major comes after the word change. It's changes. You know what I mean? Like that's the key focus. I mean, if you take something from somebody and you've made changes, minor, major, small, big, doesn't matter, how many changes, nothing. If you've made changes, then it's no longer that original work. Do you know what I mean? And that's the way that I see it. I mean, you know what I mean? Like that is that person. Then at that point, you mean, that's their theory behind it, and that's where that law comes into play. I mean, that's why somebody can take something from something, and make changes, to it. Now I know there is some, major and minor, law aspects to, copyright and everything. I get that, but I'm just saying in terms of, art in general, I mean, I understand that you take something from somebody, Peter McKinnon's presets, you then decide that, oh, this needs to be tweaked, or whatever, and you change it, even though side by side, it might look quote, quote, minor to people, it's still that person's taste. I mean, that has changed, that they have made modifications. Therefore, it's not, taking it from just Peter McKinnon. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah, I do. I agree with you 100%. Princess says, I think you can actually get sued for that. LOL. She said, if someone took my Mac painting, for example, and just changed the lips green, I'd sue them. LOL. Uh, Again, I agree. I'm not saying anything about that's why I said not talking about money. We have a legal system designed to protect people's original work. And I would argue that at times it's flawed and at times sometimes it works good. But I mean, for example, I can make a red purse. Somebody could go out and make a green purse and they could sell that. It could look I mean, all purses already look similar. It could just have, it could be the old style of, it has a little latch and a flap that opens, and it's green. Somebody makes one and I make one red, and I could probably sell that and get away with it because all purses look pretty similar. um
Right.
And
Well,
again,
there's a lot of products out there in general that are the exact same product, and even though a company has a patent on that said product, that other company gets away with it because they're, even if they are minor changes, do you know what I mean? Or like the average person doesn't really pick out those changes visually. You mean without dissecting that product? I mean that's how multiple competitor products exist. Do you know what I mean? Like they've made some changes to whatever a product
well,
that
just
somebody
look at
originally had.
just look at mobile phones. Most cell phones nowadays, whether it's like, they look pretty much similar and have one or two minor changes. And
Right.
Apple's look pretty much like Samsung phones nowadays. They look pretty much like Google Pixels. I mean, they all look
Right.
pretty
Right.
similar.
Well,
They might have a
headphones are the same. Headphones, are the same. Mics are the same. At the end of the day, it's like, okay, somebody originally came up with it. Do you know what I mean? Somebody originally came up with the headphone over the ear style headphone. You know what I mean? And somebody was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Well, let me make a tweak to it. Boom. Come out with their own line. I mean, that's how it all works. Art is no different in the sense of, you know, a person coming up with something or making tweaks to somebody else's stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and I just
Yep.
go ahead.
Yasuo says, I see what you're saying, but you can only take that and run with that for so long and call it creativity. I just can't see someone changing up a few colors and mixing a few things up and think, yes, that was very creative of them. That's now what's going to pop into my ring first. Yeah, you might not think it's very creative of them. But then my question would be, so how many minor changes does that art piece need before it's then creative? I don't think that's a question people can answer. I think that's a question that would change versus every single person you ask them. You might say,
Right.
it needs to have 5 minor changes. Like if you had to make a law tomorrow on what was considered creativity, okay, do it. Like what would be your law? Like it just, I would agree. Like, and I'm not saying I disagree with you, Yasso. If someone took Princess's pain and, for example, we'll just use that, and changed the color of his lips and changed the skin tone a little bit, but it was the same drawing with the same background she had and everything. Like I'd be like, yo, this is a ripoff of Princess's work. But I would still argue that the person was operating in a creative mode because they saw something and they said, I think it should look like this, and they made those changes. I mean, that's in my opinion the definition of creativity. Seeing something and changing it. I mean, even a painter painting on a blank canvas, they're seeing a white canvas and they're seeing a bunch of colors that already exist in nature, and they're saying, how can I combine all of these colors based all of the things I've seen in my life to or whatever I can imagine in my brain and come up with that, and we call that creative. I just don't think there's a difference. Again, if we're talking about protecting people's work and stuff, and we're talking about bringing money into it and people's livelihoods and stuff, then yeah, we have laws around that. I agree with those laws overall. Again, I think those get abused sometimes, like the stuff with DMCA stuff from music labels. I think the music industry is on the way wrong side, kind of this stuff. So I would agree with that. But I would still just say my point is not anything with money or people stealing work or anything like that. My point just was, because the original question from Code Nations was, when does it become art? And I'm just saying, I think it becomes art when you look at something and you say, I want to change how it looks to what I think it should look like. I think that's
Right.
art. I
Right.
think that
Yeah. No,
is
I
the
know.
basic of art.
Yeah. No, I know.
Princess
And
says
I
someone
think we've kind of
takes.
flipped it.
Yeah. Princess says someone takes my stuff. Sorry, just let me catch up because I want to see if
You're
you
good.
responded
Yeah,
back
you're
to
good.
me. Princess says, someone takes my stuff, I'm knifing them. Yeah, says, I think it has to be noticeable change in the original picture. If I can't see any big differences between pictures, it's not creativity. Yeah, says, just for me, that's a very personal opinion. Right, but that's what I'm saying. Everybody has their opinion on that. So I'm just saying, because I realize, like, my opinion probably lines up with yours, Yasuo. But if someone took one of my photographs and changed one thing on it and said to me, how do you think this looks now? What I'm saying, I guess, for me is personally, even though I agree with you, Yasuo, that I'd be like, I don't really find that creative or not, I'm all about encouraging creativity. So even if I don't feel it's creative, I'm going to encourage that there was an act of some type of creativity in hopes that then it causes that person to grow in their creativity. Does that make sense?
I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess for me, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, I guess for me, I don't know why it really matters. If money is taken out of it, I mean, if we're not talking about the monetization, like money aspect behind, like, this is a famous print, right, of like the Eiffel Tower, right, and like, I mean, and I'm the only person that's ever taken this photo, that looks this way. I mean, and I'm selling them like crazy, and then somebody, I don't know, then somebody like on the street, buys a photo of mine, scans it in and then makes changes and edits to it, or whatever. And then they're trying to then sell my photo with edits to it. Like, obviously, if we're not discussing that side of things and we're more focused on, like you're saying, where, you've posted a picture somewhere, on Instagram, and somebody, saved the photo, made some edits to it and was like, hey, check this out. Look what the edits I made or whatever. I mean, why does it matter? You know what I mean? Like, to me, like, it would be more of like, I wouldn't be upset that they took my photo. You know what I mean? Like, I would be more like you said, I'd be more of like saying like, oh, that's kind of a cool take, on the photo. You know what I mean? Whatever. I guess it really just depends. I don't know. I think it really just depends on the situation, and how that said items being sold or sold in the sense of like, what they're doing or not doing. Because I feel like, yeah, I mean, once you bring money into it, then obviously it changes the game. You know what I mean? Like if a person was to take the Mac Miller image, by Princess, you know what I mean? And then like make modifications to it, like change the purple, the lips, green, or, this or that, or this and that. Like, if they weren't selling them, do you know what I mean? Then does it really matter? You mean, that they took the image and changed, the lip color and, made edits to it? Because if they're not selling them to make money, does it really make a difference? Right. Like, but then yet now, if you take into consideration, like if they were trying to then turn around and sell her image, that's her image, but then they just changed the lips green and saying like that's theirs, then that's copyright shit. But I'm just saying, like, in the sense of like that somebody just, I don't know, making edits to it.
Well, right. And actually, I don't, if somebody took Princess's image and gave it and tweaked it and gave it away for free, I don't even think you could do anything copyright law, because I think they have to be profit in. Like, you could take any copyrighted image and use it for personal use. It's only when it becomes where money becomes involved that it then becomes an issue. I mean, I could print out the Apple logo and hang it on my wall in my room, but now if I have it in the back of my live stream while I'm live streaming, then it becomes an issue because I'm then using their work. So yeah, I mean, if there's no money, I don't even think there is a distinction in the court's eyes. Then I think it's just people might still say, oh, that's you stole that from that person. But yeah, so I mean, I agree with exactly what you're saying. I just don't think.
Hey,
and again, I think it's more. I just view the mindset, because what if somebody takes one of my photographs and changes one minor thing? I have pine trees in it. They change the color of the pine trees, and then I look at it. My first thought is not to harass them for stealing my picture and editing. My first thought's going to be like, do they look better? And if they do, I'm going to steal their color and use it probably in my future. Like, so then am I stealing their work? Because I might be like, oh, damn, those trees look way better that color in this type of a scene. And I'm going to remember that. And even I might in the future subconsciously start making my trees when I see images that kind of like, maybe it's a winter theme with a lake. And I'm like, oh, that shade of trees just pops on. I'm going to use that probably subconsciously in the future without even realizing it. You know what I mean? So
because you saw it, you
more of
liked
a
it, you're gonna try to
collaborative.
apply that same setting, right?
Right. But then did I steal their, because they literally made one tweak and I stole their whole damn thing. Their whole tweak I stole.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know. I don't know if it is or not. I don't know. Speaking of creativity, though, look what I just created out of my magnetic balls. What is it? Can you tell me what it is?
That's very creative of you, Carnations.
Yeah, it's my own creation. I just created it. Nothing else out there is like it.
Is it actually supposed to be something? Because I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a tampon.
Oh. Well, then you didn't create that. That already exists.
No, it's my personal creation. There's not one made out of magnetic balls like this.
Bam, dude. Start up anew.
Dude, it's already done. It's already done. I got a patent on it right now pending.
I don't know. Princess Yasuo, any thoughts from the, or anybody else still watching? Any thoughts from any of you guys on kind of just our whole long spiel? I mean, I know I was reading some of what you guys were, but kind of any closing thoughts on it? Or I don't know. I mean, that's all I got. I'm always gonna, I think if most people around here don't know by now, even if I don't necessarily like, even if I get offended that someone stole my picture and made a minor edit, after I think about it for like, I might initially get upset. But after I take a moment to think about it, I just always default back to how can I do good in this situation? So how can I encourage the person's creativity? How can I help the person? How can I, I don't know. I just always think if you do that, take the money out of it, the money comes anyways. I just think it just happens that way. I don't know. Call me crazy. I just do.
I mean, for me
And again,
personally,
I
again,
look at it
I'm not going to
collaborative.
touch. Yeah, I'm not gonna touch a whole lot onto the subject because that could be a whole nother freaking podcast. But I just think as long as there's no money involved, right? Like, and what I mean by that is as long as I'm not, in my opinion, I'm not going out to Google, you know what I mean, and looking for a specific person's photo, right, of something. Like I'm gonna use digital art because that's what I dabble in every day. But like, let's say I'm hunting something, I mean, for, I don't know, like a vector icon or something, of like a, I don't know, mailbox or something. And I go out there and I go to Google and I type it in, right? And instead of going and I click on a stock site, right? And I see, I mean, that, oh, they've got this image up here. It's splashed, it's plastered with, uh, watermarks, right? And then I copy, I take a screenshot of that logo, right, with the watermarks on it. Then I go to Google, or no, then I go to the Adobe programs, you know what I mean? Then I throw it into Illustrator, then I image trace it, you know what I mean? And then I basically do no modifications to it, and then take that image without paying for it. You know what I'm saying? Or giving any type of a credit to where that item came from, then I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time. I have a hard time justifying there being an issue. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm not doing that and instead, which I've done this a bazillion times, which again, Princess, other people, that are very, artist driven, maybe they would have a problem with this, but like, I've done it numerous times where I've opened up Google, and I'm looking for a specific icon, right? Like I'm looking for a mail icon or looking for a newsletter icon or something, right? I'll go to Google, I'll find something, that I like. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be like, oh, this is cool. I like this. Or it's like, oh, I like this, right? I will look at it, decide in my head, oh, I could easily, design something like this. That looks pretty damn close to this. Not taking their image, but then I go to like, Adobe, open it up, start designing, start playing around with, the tools that I have at my disposal, And then I come up with something very similar, that I do like, that, I've made some tweaks or did something to it, that I liked a little bit better, or that fits my design that I'm doing, better, But my inspiration came from that piece. Does that make sense? Like, so like I don't really think that's a problem in that sense. You know what I mean? I mean, sure, I could have went there and I could have paid $5, for that, that icon, but it's like, like if I, why would I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm looking at it differently, but like, I feel like if I see it and I like it and I know that I have the ability to create it or create something similar to that, and I'm just using it to draw inspiration from, then I'm not really sure why that's, a negative thing. You watch
Yeah.
Peter McKinnon, you like the way he makes a preset. So it's not like you're going to Peter McKinnon's presets and buying his presets, which you might be, but I'm saying,
Yeah, I own Peter McKinnon's presets.
right. But I'm saying, then you go into Lightroom, you know what I mean? And let's say you decide that you want to build the same preset that he just did a tutorial on how to build. I don't feel like you're really ripping that preset, from him. You know what I mean? You're literally recreating it yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And like I said, I mean, I don't know that. I hope I don't. I hope I didn't come off sounding like so matter of fact about any of it. I'm just sharing my opinion. I don't know. And like Yasso said, which he just said here. He said, "Yes, me too. I can see how it." Princess says, "I just think creativity is just different for everyone." I think what we consider to be creative and what we don't consider to be creative is different for everyone. But
I'm
again,
gonna hit the restroom. I'll be right back.
okay. But I do think that creativity is creativity. I don't know. I mean, if we look up the definition, like, let's say if we took it at its face value of like, what is the definition of creativity? The use of the imagination or original ideas, especially in the production of artistical work. So yeah, it's not really, doesn't actually really tell you much. But anyways, yeah, it says, yeah, me too. I can see how it can see. I can see how it can see how. Yeah, yes, me too. I can see how it can seem how one minor change can spiral down to an entire change to the whole thing. Just let it evolve into that point until you post it and call it creative. Yeah, I agree. I just think new people, they start off with just doing a couple changes. And I just, again, I just don't think it hurts or helps to bash them when they're trying to create. Yas says, and if it doesn't evolve into an entire change, let it run its course. Don't just tweak a few things and call it theirs. Strive for more, tweak more, improve more. Yeah, I agree completely. Yas says, last message on this Reddit thread I have made in your chat. LOL. If you literally cannot think of anything else to tweak or improve, then I would consider it a collab piece at that point because they have put so much effort in the point they don't know what to make any better. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't think collab's a bad word either. Um, I would agree with that. I would just also say that I don't. I mean, again, anything most people create though, unless they're creating, I mean, an entirely new thing that they came up with their imagination, then that would be a collab. I mean, it would basically like just using Princess as an example. She paints a Mac Miller, so she did a collab piece with Mac Miller because I mean Mac Miller looks like Mac Miller. She painted him like you know she did it to her own background or whatever. But I mean, the Mac Miller look like, so I guess like you could call it collab. But again, my argument, I guess, would be, or not argument, but just my agreement would be that that's how I see it. But I see that all art is a collaborative art. Like every art created is collaborative at on some level because I literally think we all build on top of one each other. And I think the negative outweighs the positive. So like the negative being that if we stifle creativity, I think it hurts humanity as a whole. If we stifle it in any capacity, all in the name of not wanting somebody to create something that looks like mine or that's similar to mine, because then again, I think you're getting in the territory of money, and I think money stifles creativity. And so I think that's a worse outcome than just the positive of letting people be smallly creative and possibly making something that's very similar to what you already created. Does that make sense?
I totally got some peanut butter pretzels from Sam's Club.
Yo, those are the best peanut butter pretzels, dude.
Dude, they are the best,
I
bro.
love those peanut
100%.
butter pretzels.
What are you
And
telling the
I
chat?
got
Are
to
you
tell
talking
you,
junk about me?
I got to be no, I was just saying, well, first let me say almost anything I've ever gotten that's Members Mark has been exceptionally well. You can never go wrong with Members Mark, I feel like. They do a good job on their store brand. No,
I would
what I
agree.
was saying though, just real quick recap, was basically I was just saying I think that the problem is like anytime you start trying to curb creativity, that the negative consequences of that curb are way worse than any of the positives gained. So I think stifling creativity on any point does more harm overall for humans as a whole, and I think the only positive is when it turns to monetary issues. Um,
Right.
and so again, I was just saying that's why I'm more on the fact of if somebody copies my stuff, whatever, I think it benefits as a whole humanity, and I think that's more important than the negative of having somebody have something that looks similar to yours or even make money off of something that, like, personally, I don't even care if somebody makes something similar to me and sells it and makes money with it. I don't know. I just think it somehow all work. I guess I just believe in karma too much. I guess I don't know. Bridget says, for me,
Nothing
it's
wrong with
just an
that, man.
uncomfortable thing because if I sat there for days, come up with ideas, then spend a month creating it, I feel like my value and time is mocked when someone takes my exact image and just changes one thing. Yas says, right. I think that's what he's getting at is that we shouldn't suppress any form of art, even if it's small change, but you have a right to feel that way, Princess. Yes, exactly. I think, yeah. I mean, if someone took my image, changed one thing, and posted it, that's what I'm saying. I would agree. I would probably be hurt. But then after a minute of thinking about it, I would probably just say, fuck it. I think people being creative is more important than my feelings getting hurt that somebody copied my thing. Again, now
And I
if you're
think it also
bringing
depends. And I think
monetary in, that's a different issue.
right.
I think
That's what I was gonna
I
say.
agree. As a society, we've made an agreement that artists should be able to protect their work, not just artists, anybody that makes anything. And I would say that probably is good. I mean, you can't expect people to create something and then not be able to monetize it and starve to death, because then they're not going to be able to create either. So I definitely think it's a balance. I'm just saying personally, I err on the side of leaning more towards the positive side. Is all I'm saying. I think you definitely have a right to be offended if somebody jacks your shit and tries to make money with it, or even if they just jack it and post it as their own. Um, it's kind of like the YouTube comments for me. If someone posts something negative on my video, like, yes, when I in the act of reading it, it might hurt my feelings, but I've just learned in life very quickly that after that initial 3 seconds of my feeling getting hurt, to just kind of throw my hands up and say, whatever, karma. If I can,
Right.
like, even if somebody's doing me wrong or doing something wrong towards me, if I return that with good, no matter what the situation is, I'm gonna get an even better reward from karma. Like, it's almost a selfish thing, because I'm like, damn, if this person does me dirty and I don't respond dirty back to them, and instead I'm like, dude, I love you. You're the best human being ever. I hope you have a great fucking day. Karma's gonna be like, dude, Derek is the shit. Let me bless that motherfucker.
Yeah, dude. I mean that, and in that sense, yeah, oh yeah, hell yeah, I would definitely second that 100%. Like I think I think that's the best way to look at it. And like, dude, I've done the same thing on my YouTube videos. Like my early YouTube videos that I've done like back in April of this year was exactly like that. I used to always have like 3 or 4 people, that would just rag on me, talk shit about, whatever the issue was. And it wasn't like constructive criticism. Right now, there's a difference. It wasn't like somebody, leaving a comment on my video, that was like, oh, hey, maybe you should slow down, or maybe, you should talk more of this, or, don't pronunciate this so much, it might make your content a little bit easier or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, not constructive criticism, but literally being like, this guy knows absolutely shit. He's only played the game for so many days, don't look at his garbage ass content, like stuff like that. Those comments, my response initially was like every other human, was instantly like, oh no, fuck this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, freak out on him. But then I was like, nah, you know what I mean? My response back to him was, unfortunately, or sorry, something like, I'm sorry, you don't find the content, to your liking or whatever, thanks for the feedback. You know what I mean? Something like that. You know what I mean? And I just kept on doing that over and over again. And you know what ended up happening? That guy that was leaving those comments to me, eventually, I don't know what happened, but eventually posted a comment on one of my videos and was like, hey, dude, I just wanted to give you mad props, let you know that I subscribe to your channel, because I've been even though I've been an absolute dick in a lot of my comments, since you started doing, content creation, you've always been, really, really nice to me in responses. And then basically said something like, it must have been the way that you were raised or something. Like, you mean something like that, of that sense. And I'm literally sitting here thinking, like, the entire time I'm thinking like, oh, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, I literally respond, back to this guy very nicely, not really trying to, what I mean, to start anything. And it just paid off, in my end. But
Yeah,
I
and
don't
let me
know.
respond to what Yas was saying, because I do think this is important. But first, Game
Yep.
Titan says hi. Wait, you do podcasts? First off, hi back to you, Game Titan. And yes, we do a podcast live every Sunday night on the channel. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays is when I do games. Sunday nights we do a podcast with my boy Codations. If he
What's
can't make
good?
it, then I might have somebody sub in sometimes. But most of the time it's Codations here. All right, now to answer Yasser, because I think this is important. He says, yeah. On the other hand, you also shouldn't feel bad for taking a picture down because you feel like you put in all the effort and should get the credit. It's not greedy or karma. I'm just saying you shouldn't go over any sort of guilt trip protecting your creativity and content. I agree 100%. So for like, if you want to respond back to the person commenting on your channel, like, hey, you're an asshole, please don't ever visit my channel again. I don't think that's wrong to do. And I don't think that you're then going to get bad karma for doing that. If somebody steals
Right.
your art, but I do believe, now on the flip flop, I do believe that if you decide, despite the fact that you're deserved that an eye for an eye mentality, while you might not get bad karma for that, while you might not be considered greedy, while you might not be in the wrong at all, if you still then choose though to operate out of goodness in your heart, I do think there's a reward for that. I do think there is good karma for that. Uh, I think always erring on that side, and I can't prove that. I mean, I can't. But all I can say is the reason I'm like this is because I wasn't always like this in my life. But when I made the conscious decision to do that, um, I noticed the changes in my own life. It was I actually like I know sometimes I sound very woo woo, I guess. I don't know woo woo is the word, but I sound very like everybody's like, "Derek, are you're really trying to act it like I'm not perfect. I sometimes get pissed at people and do but I've just learned the more that I can be how I'm trying to say that I try to be towards all this, uh it's only helped me in life. Like I'm going completely off of anecdotal evidence, like my own personal life evidence, that my life was shitty. I decided to make this mindset change. I started operating this way, and my life got hella better. And I gained all the benefits. No longer caring about all the shit people did to me. No longer caring about all that negative. Just focusing on not letting that person then make me act that way or me whatever. Whether I was right to do it or not. Whether you have every right to do it or not, all I, and it's not like I'm not like preaching. I'm not trying to like, Christianity. I'm not trying, but like, I'm just like good always begets good. It's just like it's a natural law of the universe. And
Right.
again, the more I try to just pump out positivity and good, the more I get it back in my own life. The more I just try to pump that out 24/7 to the extent where sometimes I don't buy my own bullshit. I'm like, Derek, you don't believe all this. But then I'm like, fuck you. Yes, I do, bitch. Set the fuck up to my own self. And I just like the more I do that, like I've never seen any negative returns on doing that ever. Again, in the
Yeah, I mean
past, have I like
that's the
come
whole
back,
principle
clap
behind.
back at people? For sure. Did it make me feel good in the moment? For sure. Do I think I was wrong for doing it? Hell no. But I don't think I was getting the full benefits that I could be getting out of the universe, karma, whatever you want to call it. Because I think when you get the most benefits is when you have every right to do that, like you're saying, Yasuo, but then you still choose not to do that. I think that's when you get the
Right.
most out of it. And whether that's
Yeah.
just
No.
you personally learning something or it's somehow, I don't know. I don't know the answer to it. I just know that personally for me, it has changed my life completely around. My life has only gotten better the more I forced myself into this attitude because again, it doesn't always come easily. It's not always a like I want to be this way or do this way or try to think this way, and sometimes I don't, and I got to like beat myself into it like no, you said you're going to do this. You said you're going to be this type of a human being. You said you're going to put good and positivity out in the world, whether you feel like it or not. And I just keep hammering that away. Again, all I can say is it's always, always, always worked out for my good. Like it's always been great for me. All right. Anyway, sorry. That was a little tangent. I don't even know. Like, and again, I'm not saying like I hope that doesn't come across as like me preaching at you or saying you're wrong for the way you're handling it because I'm not. I think you're totally justified in handling it that way if it happens. You know what I mean? I just think
Mhm.
when you choose to not, there's really unspoken benefits that's hard to put into words to get people to understand. And I think it's really
Yeah.
important in life. And I wish people told me that sooner, like really beat it into me and got me to understand it at a sooner point in my life. So that's why I
Yeah.
just try so hard to beat it into everybody else. All right, go
Yeah.
ahead,
No,
man.
I completely understand that. I mean, like I said, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I think about it, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, me personally, like I think I just, and I'm not trying to say I'm superior in any means. I'm just saying like I don't know, like it's kind of just been bred into me. Like that's kind of like how I don't know, how I've kind of lived in general, is like I've always believed in karma. I've always believed in, doing what I felt is best, in any situation at any given moment. You know what I mean? And we've kind of had this talk before on one of the very first podcasts, but like I don't know, man. I'm very much like, well, I made that decision for a reason at some point in time. I mean, whether or not other people agree with that decision, at a certain time, you know what I mean? Like I still feel, like that decision was made for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but like, you know what I mean? Whether it was a lesson that I learned, you know what I mean? That, or something that I learned from that experience that obviously I don't want to make that mistake again, but yet at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, I don't look at it in the sense of, oh, I didn't do this, so I got something bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, you mean, like, I look at it in terms of just like, well, I made that decision. You mean I learned from that experience, I grew from it, did whatever, made whatever the modifications I needed to, and then I kept on trucking along. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like, where I'm at, now. And like you said, I agree with you now in the sense of, yeah, I mean, I believe hardcore in karma. You know what I mean? I believe in, just constantly doing, good towards others. Do you know what I mean? Like, do I feel like I go out of my way to do that? No, just in the sense of like, I think I just already do it. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I'm ever having like an experience where I'm always like, should I get out of the car, and help like that lady, carry her groceries inside, cause it might be good for my karma. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, like I've never like had that experience. I'm more of like I just do it. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just like, oh, that lady's struggling, boom, hop out of the car, run over there really quick, help her put her shit in there. I get back in the car. Just the other day, we were at a gas station and I paid for a guy and he had one kid with him and he had 3 kids in the car and his wife was in the car. He was trying to buy, what was it? Like three individual sodas, right? Like it was like Mountain Dew and a couple other stuff. And then he was trying to buy a pack of cigarettes. And then I think he had his kid that was there had like 3 or 4 like pieces of candy on the thing, like Skittles and something else. And he was right in front of me. And it's just second nature to me. So like, the guy standing there, he's trying to pay, he pulls out his card, he goes to swipe it, the teller's telling him that it's declined or whatever, you know what I mean? And I think the total was like $10, right? And so like for me, I'm standing behind him. I've got 10 or so people behind me in line, waiting to get through the gas station. You know what I mean? Like, the guy's holding up the line. You know what I mean? The teller's telling him that his card's not swiping. I know that I can spare $10. You know what I mean? So for me, I was just kind of like, the guy was like, oh, okay, hold on. Let me run out to the car really quick. So he walks away. Like as soon as he walks away, I lean up to the teller. I'm like, hey, just add mine onto his. I'm just getting a drink. You know what I mean? Here, add his onto mine. And the teller's like looking at me like confused, like all of this. And I'm like, yeah, the $10 or whatever it was. Yeah, just add it onto mine. I'll swipe my card. Swiped my card, paid for it, walked out to my car, gave the bag to him, said nothing. You know what I mean? Didn't make it a big scene, nothing. Gave him the bag, got in my car and drove away. Yeah. As soon as I got in the car, my wife was bawling. And like, for me, I'm like, why are you crying? You know what I mean? And she's like, babe, that was like super nice and heartfelt. I'm like, well, I mean, like, I don't look at it that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like for me, I'm like, I just saw that he needed some help. Like he's got 3 fucking kids. You know what I mean? Like his car wasn't working. I've been there. It's been a shitty ass day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I number one, first, I don't think that like, oh, you're superior. First off, kudos, like that's awesome. Most people don't do that. And I agree. I will say, see, I opposite of you, like, and I don't have any problems admitting that today. I grew up very, very selfish, very in my own thing. So it's taken me a lot of work to get this way. But then that's where I'm saying I try to take it and I'm not, but I try to take it a step further that like, have you ever just in the in that same situation, if the guy's card didn't get declined, have you ever just stepped in and paid for someone at a grocery store? Have you ever taken that first step to do it? And that's what I'm saying. So yeah, I've done where you've been at, but then in my mind, I'm always thinking. That's where I say that's where the consciousness kicks in. And I'm not saying you're not conscious, but you're saying you don't even really think about it. You're just a good person, and that's awesome. Right. We need good people in the world. I wasn't a good person. I became a decent person, but because I wasn't, and I know where I came, and so then I saw the change it caused in my life. And then it started making me question, well, what if I go above and beyond that? What if I just start going into a store and paying for somebody's groceries? What if I'm just in a drive-through and I just tell them to swipe my card for the person's order behind me? What if I'm just just always trying to one up my own good deeds, not to compete with anybody else? I mean, I don't, beyond, like literally this is the first, like, I don't ever tell anybody, I doubt my family members know that I've ever just paid for someone's groceries at a grocery store or just paid for someone behind me in the drive-through without knowing that, like, not because their card was just to do a good deed. This is literally probably the first time I'm saying it out loud outside of like my wife knowing because she's with me and sees this stuff happen. I
Right.
think when you make that so here would be my try to one up your good deeds. Try to think of how you can do a good deed, like not just when the opportunity presents itself, but how you can
Right.
create a good deed. And I've just and again, I'm not saying it like a comp, but I'm just saying I've
No, I
always
get what you're saying
found
though.
the more I do that, the more I try to one up my own goodness, my own whatever you want to call it. I don't even like the words good or bad. I mean, but I'm just saying I don't know what
But I
else
get
to
what you're
call
saying.
it.
Your own actions,
But
your own
try to
actions.
one
Yeah.
up your own just go around your neighborhood and pick up trash off the side of the road. Like actually actively think of good things you could do without just waiting for the opportunity to produce itself. I think it
Right.
unlocks a whole new level. And again, just for my own personal I have nothing else except for my own personal life, but I can just say the more I've tried to do that, and again, I'm gonna give another example, but like when we got our first stimulus checks, everybody got all their checks. Everybody loved getting all their checks. We gave ours away to people in need. We posted on Fit, and again, I'm not saying this to brag, but I'm just saying we made an
Right. No, I
active
get what you're
like
saying.
there was no one that messaged us that said we needed the money, but we're like we have. Let's give, and it should like I
Mhm.
think there's something really powerful when you think of that. You make conscious. It's not when I think it's great when you see a need and you feel the need. Awesome, great. But I that's what I'm trying. Like I'm trying to get people to understand. I think there's higher levels than that, and that when you actively go out and just try to create good, it's like the universe then creates good for you. If that makes sense. Again, and
Yeah, no.
I'm not
Yeah,
trying to
no, I
because
would
that was a
back that
great
up.
story. Again, I mean, I love hearing my friends tell me stories like that because then that tells me, hey, it's definitely great that I'm this person's friend because they're a good person. But
Right. No, no,
so
no.
again, I just don't want it to be taken that way. I'm just trying to
No, no, no.
really stress how important I think it is. Yas says,
Yeah,
I
no,
think I undervalue my actions. Anytime I help someone or family like Codations, I see it as another pair of hands, just another person helping out. Sometimes that really hurts me though, because that leads down to me undervaluing my value as a Wait, let me read that one more time. I didn't quite get it. I think I undervalue my actions. Anytime I help someone or family, like Codations, I see it as another pair of hands, just another person helping out. Sometimes that really hurts me, though, because that leads me down to me undervaluing my value as a person. Do you get what he's saying there, Codations?
I have no clue.
Okay.
I'm trying to read it and
Yeah.
understand it. Do you get it? Are you picking up on it or
I
no?
don't quite get it, but I will say I think what happens when a lot of people are doing stuff like that is and maybe I'm wrong here because again I'm not quite getting what you're saying, Yasuo. So maybe if you can just reword it a little different is probably all I need. But my brain's just it's 10:30 at night for me. It's past my bedtime. But I think I don't know why it would cause you to. I guess what I don't understand. I understand everything you're saying. I guess I'm not understanding why you helping somebody else and seeing it just as another pair of hands makes you undervalue your own value as a person. To me, that sounds a lot like um, uh, this sounds to me. If I all right, I try to be as honest.
The
It
way
sounds
the
to me
way the
more
way I'm
about
reading this.
ego. Does that make sense
Yeah,
to
I
you?
don't know. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. The way that
Like,
I'm
are
reading it, which
you?
I could be reading it
Go ahead. Yeah,
wrong,
yeah. Go ahead.
but I'm reading it in the sense of like maybe he's saying kind of like what you were saying was he's undervaluing his value, meaning like what other things could he be doing? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That he's overlooking. Does that make sense? Like, how could he increase? You know what I'm saying? Or am I thinking it completely wrong? I'm reading that in the sense of like, oh, hold on, he did just he
Okay. Yeah.
filled this in.
Says I don't feel satisfied after helping. I don't feel rewarded mentally. Like I know I did a good deed and I helped someone, but I still just don't feel good personally after doing a good deed. Um okay. Well, I would say if you don't, it's probably because you don't look too highly on yourself. And I would probably say you have some issues of self-love. I would probably say I mean, do you consider yourself a good person? If you had to make that distinction? I mean, that might be a weird question, and it might not be like
Yeah,
the
but
best question to
yeah, but
answer.
hold
But
on. Yeah, but hold on. Let me interject though,
yeah, yeah,
because
sure,
here's the
sure.
thing. Like going back to that situation, like with helping that person out in the car,
Mm-hmm.
like when I brought the bag to them, I felt the same way as Yaso here. Like I did not like in my mind.
You feel
Like
less, or because he says I feel
no,
less?
no. I don't feel less, but I'm saying in my mind, I didn't feel any sorts of achievement or accomplishment. Like, I mean, like, like when I got in my car, it was out of sight, out of mind. Like I did, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't get into the car thinking like, oh dude, I just helped out that person. You know what I mean? Hopefully, that they can enjoy that, and take that, to do whatever. That to me, that wasn't on my mind. In my mind, in that moment of me helping them, it was me seeing an issue, like a problem, like, oh, they need this, he's here, this, I mean, like, he's got kids in the car, they're struggling, whatever reason, maybe their car just didn't work because it was an old raggedy card. But in my mind, I was just fixing that problem and alleviating that problem for that person. And then I didn't look at it in the sense of like me helping that person or an accomplishment. Does that make sense? Or an achievement?
So why did you help the person then? Like, what was your reasoning for helping the person? Because you saw they were in need?
Right.
But why did you care they were in need?
Because I've been in that situation.
Like there's hundreds of, okay, so that's called empathy, which is a feeling. I mean, right? Okay. So you're feeling something. I mean, because again, there's like, I think you're undervaluing your contribution too, because there's lots of people that, I mean, there was 10 other people behind you. None of them stepped up to pay for his groceries. Most people, I would argue 90% of humans won't. You did because you're feeling out. I mean, that's still a feeling. I mean, and I would even then argue, if you really looked, you would get some kind of good feeling out of doing it. It feels good to know that you help. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I guess I'm more asking, but I think the natural thing to say is I just did it because someone was in need. But I do think we feel good to help people that are in need. I think it feels good to help people in need. It gives you some satisfaction, some, I mean, I think it's almost impossible to help somebody and not feel good about helping somebody. I think we're designed as mammals to get joy out of doing good things. I think even if it's the feeling of just knowing that you're a decent person, I think that gives you, because if you didn't care, if you didn't have feelings of wanting to be a good person or being that type of person, I don't think you would do those things. I think you would be like most people and not do those things because you didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would agree with that statement. Like, I mean, obviously I cared enough to help that person out, but I think for me personally, like just me speaking on my personal
I'm not saying you get a big head about it.
No, I know, but I'm saying I think me personally in my specific situation, I think the reason why I feel the way that I do is because of my personal experience of being in that situation, meaning like not just the situation as in like me at a gas station trying to get stuff and I can't get stuff because my card is declined, but in the sense of like, the stress of, money. I mean, whatever the situation was, seeing the kids, that need something, you know what I mean? Like seeing my brothers and my siblings, that need, that want something, that they can't have every day, that kind of emotion, you know what I mean? Like you said, empathy or whatever, kind of took a hold of me in that sense. And all I'm focused on and thinking on is like, like in that moment is, well, I've got an extra $10. Do you know what I mean? Like whether or not they really have that $10 to buy that, I mean, isn't something that I care about, in that moment. It's just thinking, I know what it's like to be in that situation. Do you know what I mean? So like when I brought the bag out there and I gave it to them, I could have been that person and, and gave them the bag. And then I could have been like, hey man, I just wanted to, to give this to you guys, you know what I mean? Like, I know you guys, probably need it, or, the kids want it or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like I could have done something like that, but instead I gave the bag, you mean, and I immediately walked back to my car, not saying anything, you mean, with them saying, thank you, blah, 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 you mean, and like me walking to my car and getting in, and out of sight, out of mind. And the reason being is because that's how I was, you know what I mean? Like when it was done to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, like when I couldn't provide for something or I couldn't get something that I wanted or that I needed or whatever, in that moment, and somebody was to help me, I was not open. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like I was caught off guard. I was not open to, to accept whatever that was. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like I was very much like caught off guard, a little bit of embarrassment. You mean, like not really sure exactly, what to expect. You mean, that kind of thing. So like, that's kind of the way that I perceived like that situation. Cause I honestly didn't know why my wife was crying when I got in the car.
Yeah.
like I got in the car and I didn't think anything about it. I didn't mention it to her or nothing. Like clearly she just watched me walk a bag of grocery or a bag of something to that person's car. But like I got in the car and she's crying when I'm pulling out of the drive or out of the parking lot, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "Babe, that was like super sweet and really nice of you." And I'm like, I mean, not really. I mean, I was just paying for his stuff. Like, he didn't have the money. He's got kids that, there's kids in the car. Like, I mean, all I did was just spot him $10. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like in my mind, I'm not looking at it in the sense of, I don't know.
I would still argue though that it gives you a good feeling to do something like that for someone, or else I still don't know that. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm just saying, to me, that I tend to lean under, we operate very much on, uh, feelings. I think more so than most of us like to admit.
right.
And again, I'm not saying that you do. Maybe it was just spur of the moment, whatever. But I do think my point is though that I think Yasuo's is different, because he says yes and no after what I said. He said, like what I said, I think it's an issue of love. He said, I could always be better. I think I'm, okay to be around, LOL, but I could always be better. That's my mentality. Be better. He said, it's kind of toxic, actually. It gives me a lot of drive, but sometimes when you have too much drive and no vision, you crash. And then he says, enough about me. Sorry, not my podcast. How long are these podcasts, Derek? They're as long as we decide to go. But I am getting ready to, I would like to end within like another 20 minutes, by 11 at the latest. Y'all says, here, let me go into this a little bit more. I want to be better constantly with everything: cooking, gaming, talking, knowledge, and whatever. So that gives me the drive to help, but not the satisfaction of helping, if that makes any sense, since we're still talking about it. Yeah, it makes sense. I still think it's an issue of self-love. Again, come to my channel, it's probably what you're going to get, is a lot of love, and but I still think it's an issue of self-love. I have that drive as well. I think Codations can probably testify that he has that drive. It's mainly why you get into, Princess probably has that drive with her artwork. Actually, I would argue most humans probably have that drive. I think a lot of people in life just get to the point where they give up on that drive. I think the crazy ones keep striving. And I say crazy for a reason, because we're actually probably crazy people. I think it can be used for good though, but I still think it's a issue of self-love. Because I'm crazy on myself. Like, Yas, I'm telling you, if you were around me 24/7, dude, like, I mean, my brain is nasty as fuck to me. I can't speak for anybody else, but I can speak for like me. I don't know how Codations is when it comes to like critiquing his own YouTube videos, or critiquing, his own, how well he's doing it. But like, my brain's rough on me. Like, I don't know how like maybe Princess can chime in with her artwork. But there's the saying that we're our biggest critics. I think that's true for most people. But at the end of the day, even though I'm hard on myself, like, I love myself a lot, and I've had to learn that. Like, I've had to learn, like, it's okay to strive to be perfect, to be not to be perfect, but to be better at everything constantly. And I think it's a good goal to have. I think the reason 80% of people give up on pursuing being great at something is because they can't grasp the self-love part of it, especially men. I think men really struggle with the self-love side of it. I think if you try to operate in one without the other, you'll fail, like most people do. I think mastering self-love really is the key. Again, it might sound hokey, might sound whatever. I'm always the guy preaching feelings and love and all that, but I can't help it. It's what I believe. But I just really do, man, because I mean, growing up as a teenager, as a male, raised by a dad that was very authoritarian, very repressed feelings and not talking about feelings and stuff. I've seen the superpower that unlocks when you truly just love yourself for being imperfect, love yourself for striving as hard as you can to be better at something, and then failing, and then still looking at yourself in the mirror and seeing yourself as a failure, but then still say, like, there's times I literally have to stand there in the mirror and say to myself, like, you fucking failed, but I still fucking love you, dude. Like, I've had to have those, and I don't mean I do it all the time, but I'm saying, like, I've had to have those conversations. Like, I think you got to make that decision. Like, it's okay for all of that, but I also think you got to have the decision of, like, no matter none of that, like, if there's anybody I'm gonna love in this world, like, I'm gonna give myself as much love as I can first. Uh, Again, I think it's a superpower, honestly, when you can do that. I don't know. Anything you want to add? Again, maybe hoo-ha, maybe whatever. Maybe I'm dead wrong. Again, I know I'm the lovey-dovey feelings, good in the world, hoo-ha guy. I've smoked too much weed in my life. That's my problem. But I would say anybody that's struggling with that, they don't have enough self-love. They don't love themselves enough. They're too afraid to love, because we're almost taught as a society that if you love yourself, you're vain, you're conceited, you're whatever. But I believe personally that you should be your biggest goddamn cheerleader in the world, bigger than anybody else. I'm my bigger like, if my wife tomorrow got up and said she hated my guts and I was the worst husband in the world and she left me and left the kids, I would stand in front of my mirror, tears falling from my eyes, and I would look at myself and I would say, I fucking love you, you dumbass. You ruined your marriage, you fucktard. I still love you. And I'd mean it. Like, I'd mean it, because
Before
like,
or
I'm
after
not
you look down?
perfect. Before or after I look down. Well, I would never lose my marriage due to cheating. That's just not something that I would ever need to worry about. So it would be looking up. I've never
Perfect.
had
By
to
the
blame
way,
my dick for it.
before we dip out of here, I just want to applaud like this background. It literally looks almost
Dude, I know I did a little bit more.
The seam literally looks like really, really damn good. Like,
Yeah, I just a little more when we were talking. But I don't know. Anything to add there, Codations, on that? Anything to kind of? I think this is kind of where we'll end. But I would say that's my, I don't know, Princess. Any thoughts on that? Again, if you guys think I'm off base,
no.
tell them, help them out. I don't know.
I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head with it. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, self-love and positivity, baby. That's the way you live. I mean, that's the only, I don't know.
Yeah, and I know it sounds cheesy, and that's the problem, I think, with a lot of people, is it sounds so cheesy. It sounds so fucking, like I said, just like especially I think as guys, we think like, ooh, lovey-dovey type shit, and we're like, but it just works, man. I don't know, like, it just fucking works. Like, sometimes you do got to be the positive person in your life talking your shit up. Like, sometimes you got to look at your shit and be like, man, that sucks. Like, that's the thought you have, but then you like catch that thought and you're like, damn, you put a lot of work into this. You know, it might not be your best work, but you tried really hard. You did your best.
Right.
Like, I fucking love you for that, man. Like,
yeah, and
like,
just,
you just gotta be that person to yourself sometimes.
Right. And just for anybody listening, this is not just related to content creation. I mean, like, that's anything you apply yourself to in life. I mean, you know, you're doing makeup on yourself every day in the morning, you're brushing your hair, you know, I mean, you're walking out the door, you're, you know, putting something together for a job, you know what I mean? Like, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like that, the same principle applies, you know, yeah, you should be your own cheerleader for sure.
Awesome. Prince says, I love this. Alec, I hope I pronounced that right. I don't know with the C, but that's what I'm going to go with. Says, new to this podcast, didn't say a word, but was fun to listen to you guys. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate that, Alec. I did see the follow come through on a podcast because we ripped the audio and posted on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that. I don't typically have the alerts on for the podcast, but I did see it. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. And glad you liked the podcast. Codations, as always, man, thanks for hosting it with me. Guys, like I said, I think that's where we're going to end it. Before we do, though, I always like to give Codations a moment because this is all on my channel and everything. So I like to give Codations a moment to kind of plug his shit because he does a lot of cool shit if you're into mobile gaming. Go ahead, Codations. Where can the people find you, and what do you do? A little bio, where can they find you?
Well, so if you're listening to the podcast, maybe you're watching the video on Derek's channel. So my name is Codations. I do mobile video games on my YouTube platform. I also have a Discord that goes hand in hand with my channel that you can hop over there. We can converse more, talk to the community, whatever you see fit. I do have a Twitter account, but it's not super active all the time. But that's pretty much it.
We're working on it. I'm trying to get them there. I try to get everybody to join me on Twitter. My wife's literally about to create an account because of me hagging her every day.
Dude,
get on Twitter with us. Get on Twitter with us.
I don't like the thing is I don't mind Twitter, but like social, like I've totally taken a backseat to social media for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I have like totally taken a backseat. Like I have a Facebook account with over 1,000 friends on Facebook. Like, and I don't know. Like I find myself like every 3 days, you know what I mean? Like going on there, like I'm that old person, you know, every 3 days going through, seeing the notifications from like 5 days ago, or like somebody's posted my news feed for 5 days ago. And I'm like liking it. And my wife's like, babe, I already saw this like 3 days ago. you know. But anyways,
Fair enough.
but yeah, no, so you can like or follow me on Twitter. Like it doesn't matter. I'll post every now and then, but I'm not super active on there. But
And
Discord
that's
and
all at
for sure.
youtube.com/codations,
Correct.
Kodeation. Is that your Discord? I'm assuming they can find it by going to your YouTube because I doubt you have a vanity
Yep.
URL yet for
Yep.
that.
Yep. Nope. Nope.
Twitter, is it
I
at
just
Codations?
yep.
Kodeation. Okay.
Yep. All the
Guys,
same.
thank you for the podcast. Yas says, alrighty, this one was a banger in my opinion. Yeah, I thought it was really good too. I thought it was a good one.
Oh yeah.
Thank you
Oh
guys
yeah.
as always for joining. Again, you can find me. Just go to my website, omgitsderek.com. You find all my social links to my YouTube, Twitch pages, Twitter, everywhere that I'm at. Just go to my website, omgitsderek.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. Love your faces, and we'll see
Love you
you
guys.
on
Catch
the
you later.
next
Thank you.
one. Peace.
Psh.